What up? This your boy Oshin. It's Oshin's View. Podcast, number one podcast in the world. I'm sitting here with three gentlemen that I have a lot of respect for. And I don't normally give it up to everybody as easily because that's just not me. You know, you gotta earn everything you give with me. And these three gentlemen clearly have earned their respect on a professional level, on a personal level, and guess what? We all Morganites. So that never hurts on top of that. So I want to introduce my man, Zeke, my man, D Chase, and my man, D Ho. The one. You know what's funny? I'm glad he said that.
Some people look.
Go ahead.
Some people look at this and be like, you know, that I knew for years, and they know Dewan. They might not like Dewan because D Ho was a better person though.
Okay. Now the funny thing about that is I didn't get a chance to text you because I knew. I was like, okay, D Chase, Zeke. And I was like, what this nigga want me to call him? I was like, I'm pretty sure nobody. I knew everybody's last name, but I was like, nah, I don't know nobody being like, cut the interview. You gonna have to start all over. So we gonna probably just go because I like to go. I'm big on chronological timelines and stuff like that because I don't want people just like, oh, so anyway, y'all got an event next week. No, we gonna go back. Come on. Anyway, we gonna start at. Anywhere y'all can go. What brought y'all to Morgan? Or see now, y'all two before y'all go, y'all can figure out the order, but. Y'all two being from New York, Bronx, Brooklyn, Chase is already here. So his story's gonna be a little different too. But so let me know, like what brought y'all to Morgan?
I'll go first. Morgan was actually my first choice. I wanted to go to Morgan from the first time I visited. I did one of the college tour things, HBCU tours, and one of them was going to Morgan. So I went, loved it. Was like, I want to go there. Plus, I knew a few people that also were coming here from Truman and Salesian, so I was like, I like that spot. But my brother went to Hampton.
Okay.
And so me and my brother are two very different type of students. And so, you know, he was able to go to Hampton, get accepted and do well. They didn't accept me initially. So this is probably a expose. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't get accepted. But my brother was able to pull some strings because of his relationships and what he achieved for the university. Said it's my little bro, and got me into Hampton.
Okay.
I think because I knew they didn't accept me at first, that was always probably a little chip on my shoulder. So ultimately, I didn't do well at Hampton. I got kicked out.
Okay.
So my mom's gave me a pass. Said, "Look, you didn't want to go there anyway. We'll give you one more shot." Because unfortunately, this was the second school that I got kicked out of. Got kicked out of my first high school too. So she was like, "I'm gonna give you one last shot." You said you wanted to go to Morgan, so Morgan was my first choice, my last shot, and so that's how I ended up here. Never really got a chance to stay on campus because I think that year I came, the dorms were overfull or something like that year. So never stayed on campus. My bad. I did the pre-college thing, so I did get a chance to stay there. But as far as when I became a student, never stayed. And so always worked and met D Chase early. Always had the muffin stand and doing poetry things, and it was like, this is where I knew I needed to be. And that's how I viewed him and still do, as a social space where I don't get kicked out of another school. You know, it's this to me seemed like a space where I can socially feel comfortable but be on the right path, because that was always a conflict previously. So that's how I ended up at Morgan.
Yeah. Oh, because I know I wanted to just go New York.
Yeah, I got you.
I really wish I could say I planned to go to Morgan. Again, I want to start off with saying Morgan changed my life, period. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm going to try to speed up, keep it short, but
no, you got time.
I was in Baltimore before Morgan.
How to feel in that? How to feel that?
I mean, I'm talking about East and West, Greenmount and Park Heights. The Jamaican guys used to bring us down to Baltimore and stuff like that. Well, this was early. I'm about to start saying in years, but it was around the time where it got crazy, where it wasn't messing with New York guys, this, that, and other, boom, boom, horseback, right? I'm speeding everything up. So then my man Jamal, I was riding past his building, driving, and he asked me to take him somewhere. We started talking. Jamal tell me, oh, he about to leave. We talking about my man that got killed and all this. He asked me, what you gonna do? I said, well, I'm gonna open the laundromat. You know, I got $75,000. I'm gonna open the laundromat. I'm gonna get a salon. I was getting those ideas from the older guys. That's what everybody else did.
Yeah.
And I didn't have no idea of how I was gonna do it. So Jamal said, how you gonna run it? I said, well, I just pay people to run it. They'll run it. Listen, I'm going to the school in Baltimore. As soon as he said Baltimore, I was like, yo, you crazy, yo. You going to Baltimore? Why you going there? No, it's a business management school. This, that, boom, boom, boom. He said, yo, you should come. I said, listen, yo, I got a GED, right? You know college gonna take me. I don't even know nothing about college. I drive you down there. Drove him down there. So we coming towards Morgan. So we get off Moravia. All you see is cemetery, come down Moravia. I said, yo, you see, I'm telling you, though, these niggas out here, wow, yo. I was here, he was like, yo, we going to the school. We get to Morgan, long story short, he was going to the football team. So I'm walking behind him the whole time. I'm seeing girls. I came for the wrong reasons. I'm seeing girls in heels, PG County, DC, Virginia, everywhere. I'm like, but I left Brooklyn with girls wearing Guess hoodies and Timbs. They looking like us. Well, y'all know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, they got their nails done. I said, yo, you said I can, because I'm looking for an escape anyway. You said I can, he said, yeah. Jamal took me down, fill out an application. You know, you fill out all the stuff, boom, boom, blah, blah, blah. Speeding it up, I went back home. They sent me some stuff saying I was accepted. I'm like, oh, what? And I'm saying in my mind, I love Morgan, though. I love
shooting jumpers and whatnot.
Anybody,
yeah.
Like shit, they're like, all right,
that's crazy.
Yo, I ain't said, but I'm like, yo, speeding it up. Got to Morgan. Me and my grandmother, because I had got kicked out at 17 because of the stuff I was doing, right? So I was on my own. Now at Morgan, I'm not 17, of course. Everybody else I was meeting was 18, but I was older than them, right?
I know what you mean.
So, but my grandmother was, so it got back to my grandmother that I was down in Baltimore again, and I'm going to school. She like, that boy ain't going to school. Y'all keep letting that boy lie to y'all. He, this, that. We was on bad terms or whatever. Long story short, one of the best times in my life is when I went back home. I'm getting all emotional about it, and showed her that I went to Morgan. Crazy, but that's how I got to Morgan.
Wow.
I don't.
I respect the transparency because we've had individual conversations, and I know how you revere your grandmother. So
right,
that's definitely real. People see that. Chase, you already in town.
Yeah.
You already in town, so go ahead.
Yeah. So the crazy part about coming to Morgan is the backdrop of my life.
Okay.
Right? So at 16, my father went back to prison. Right? So all of my friends who were around me got locked up. So when I came to Morgan because number one, I could pay for it. And I didn't want to put any stress on my mother. Right? I knew that I could pay for it. Because that same year, I paid for my mother to go to college, right? So my choice was Morgan's. I could pay for it. I went to Mervo, all right? Mervo is 2 blocks from Morgan. I literally walked up the street to put the application in.
Okay.
Right? So everything was convenient. I could stay close to my mother because I knew my mother needed me. Not even my mother needed me. I'm the patriarch of my family. I knew I couldn't leave. Right. My sister needed me. My mother needed me. My grandfather, right before I came to Morgan, my grandfather had died in December. He was the patriarch of the family. I had a dream, and the dream of grandfather was in all white, and he said, here's the family. He said, and I had that responsibility. So when I came to Morgan, not really understanding college. I knew I was going because that's what I was going to do, right? I went to Merrill, it was a trade school. So when I came to Morgan, I was also a full-time employee. I worked 40 hours a week. So I worked at any kind of check cashing as a manager. right? And I was always hustling shit, right? So I came to when I had money, I had a car, you know what I'm saying? I had real responsibilities, both in my personal life, all right, and in my private life. So I came to Morgan really just trying to understand like what college was. I didn't understand about undergraduate, graduate, like all the stuff that people traditionally know. I didn't know any of that. What I did know is that this is where my path was leading me. I didn't come, like I got out in '89. So I knew that I wanted to take 6 months off and just do whatever I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? I was, like I said, I was working. And then, when those 6 months was up, like I came to Morgan. I had a black leather coat on. And I remember not understanding financial aid. And I'm just literally just like, I'm trying to figure it out. I didn't know anything about the Pell Grant. Only thing I knew is at that point in time, I think Morgan was like $3,500 a year. I had $3,500 on me.
Actually, it was it was $5,500 a semester.
No, that's when you came. I came in '90.
Oh, plus we was playing out of state.
Y'all was playing out of state.
Oh, okay,
us,
yeah. Because I paid the cash.
It was like $1,700. Like it was like $1,700.
Yeah. Okay.
And I knew I had $3,500 to pay for college for a year.
And then you figure it's $3,500. Next year I'll have $3,500.
I had the other $3,500 too. I've always had $3,500. I've never not had $3,500 in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I was a kid. So I just knew I was going to be good, bro. And that's really how I got to Morgan.
All right. I don't mind y'all actually dating some of the stuff too, because the way I look at it is a lot of people that's going to be watching it, we're of a certain age. If you're younger, fine, you get educated. If you're older, it's going to take them back too. But that's where I wanted to go. This is why the timeline is important to me. So,
and I was there before that.
Right.
I'm
there 4 to 5 years before.
So, you the youngest. Okay. All right. Bet.
And this is the thing what you just now said, what killed me. And I'm speeding up a little bit. We can take it back. A lot of these people that I've worked with over the years, that I help or brought in on promotion or mentor or whatever it is, they still. They don't get it. They look at me as like I just came to Baltimore last year. Like, do you understand that you've been here over like 20 something years? Right. Like, and I want to address this.
That's what this is for. That's what this is for.
I be laughing with his ego, right? And this is what I'm saying. I don't need to be like, and I'm not saying I need the recognition or whatever, but it's just funny when I watch stuff like when they say that I like facts. I talk facts. People they're like, yo, so why do you feel that way? Because it's not facts. You just talking. Like you wasn't there. You just talking. I'm getting into it. Mm-hmm. Oh, Tupac from Baltimore. No, he's not. Why is Tupac from Baltimore if he was here 4 years and I've been over 20-something years? Right. Hold up. Mello's from Baltimore. He was here early, but how long? Who else? DMX was here for 2 summers. Oh, DMX from Baltimore. Stop. You can't pick and choose. Right. Come on, so we done did the events for the mayors of Baltimore. Mm-hmm. We done put into, when you talk community stuff, property, like we put in work.
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, look.
I did more for Baltimore than I did for Brooklyn. I was a menace.
I was like, I was in New York 20 years. I've been here 25 years. So I've been in Baltimore longer than I've been in New York. Most of us have. Mm-hmm. And this is where I met my wife. This is where I got married. In Baltimore courthouse. This is where I had my kids. Mm-hmm. This is where I bought my first properties. Like, and it's not most people in my opinion.
No, it's not.
I just think it's a few people who feel like there's a leverage or benefit to them by identifying us as out of towners. I don't even think it's personal. I can't think of a person personally that hasn't embraced us after 20 plus years. I think but if it's an opportunity for leverage, right? You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, why not?
Which means nothing.
So I'm gonna jump in as a Baltimore guy who talked to Baltimore guys about you too, right? And Baltimore was always a city that everybody skipped over, right? Yeah. So we said, we're going to DC, we're going to Philly, we're going to New York. So it was never been any props to be from Baltimore. Right. You know what I'm saying? You don't get shit from being in Baltimore. Right. You may get a little bit now because of the wire or whatever, and then they think you're crazy. Then they say, hey, the wire. So, and then the other part is that what New York represented in the 90s, in the 80s for us, right?
That's what I was getting at.
So New Yorkers came down here to take over, not understanding the culture of Baltimore. This is a real city. You coming from a neighborhood that's real, right? You coming from a hood that's real. It's the whole city. It ain't nothing special about no part. It's all hood. So, like a lot of Baltimoreans, they took pride. They've always taken pride in the struggle, right? So, looking forward in terms of how you guys are coming in impact. The other part about Baltimore is a lot of people, because it's so hood, they don't get developed. They don't get the development that they need. So they really come in wondering how you guys got so far so fast, and they've been here all their lives doing the same thing that you did. So they really don't understand your magic sauce. They don't understand that a lot of your magic sauce is embracing Baltimore, right? You never was a guy to come out there and say, I'm from New York. You say, I'm in Baltimore, but I'm from New York. It's different. You always respected the fact that you was here. You respected the people was here. You respected the culture. You never talked greasy about the culture. You never talked about how they spit language, even though you may talk about it jokingly. You know what I'm saying? But all of that stuff is important to guys that are from Baltimore, because Baltimore was all we had, right? And it's a town where, there's no industry here. It's literally, like, tell me the industry that, you know what I mean? Bethlehem Steel is gone. You're a woman, you can go maybe get a job at Hopkins. But for men, well, tell me the industry. So everybody here got to get it out of the gutter, some form of way, all right? Whether it's legal or illegal, they get it out of the gutter. It comes with a whole lot of pain, and it comes with a whole lot of passion and power. And that's why, like, a lot of cats, they still be.
But I get that from I get it from the older. You get what I'm saying? Like, only not some older. Now it depends on honestly depends on how they grew up and where they're from.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because like I said, being here so long, like, and it's a great podcast. I associate with the ones that's in the hood with all this stuff going on. I don't speak on it. I know what's going on. I speak to these guys. I see I'm in the trenches. So I know the worst people. Then I know the people that run it. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I just stay in my lane. So but when I hear like Zeke said, when it's an opportunity to get in a position, and then they gotta choose between a Zeke and somebody else, the first thing they want to say is, oh yeah, but he ain't from here. Who's gonna do the job better? Like it's we done brought so much opportunities. Like what you were saying, Chase. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of people that wouldn't be in certain positions and then wouldn't have certain things if it wasn't. I'm not just talking about New York. Right. It's a lot of people from all over that stayed. Mm-hmm. That has become an asset that has helped Baltimore.
Oh no! I think that
and part of it, like you were saying, Chase, it's that native pride that causes sometimes the rift with people, because when you go back to New York, you see a lot of people who are running things in New York are from Connecticut. They're
actually from other countries.
They're from other countries.
Right.
So it's really the same everywhere in a sense, where you have people who are seizing opportunities and people who aren't, and the people who seize opportunities typically connect. You know what I'm saying? But it's the ones who aren't, who are looking for a reason to make themselves feel better about why someone else is where they're not where somebody else is.
Right. But this is what I'll add. There was a period of time, and this is what you guys have destroyed, where cats from out of town, New Yorkers, wouldn't bang with Baltimore guys.
That's true.
All right? So
that was the era I was talking about.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. So there was a wall. Right. That wall wasn't created by Baltimore.
That's true.
That wall was created by they from New York. Oh, they doing the Doo-Doo Brown or da. So they embraced a lot of there was an era of New York. All right, the New Yorkers that came down. They didn't embrace us.
The thing I gotta interject a little bit for that, because everything y'all saying is actual facts and how things go. But I think where you're going with it is, I know where you're going with it, but I don't want somebody looking. Yeah. We're talking about drugs. That's what.
Right.
No, because honestly,
Drugs
before
and entertainment.
there is. I can go to
Drugs and
entertainment too. I was gonna get to that, but for the most part, we're talking drugs and stuff like that because it was a rift. It was rift between that. See, because the thing about it is this: Baltimore is still considered a major city. But then you have a New York City. I'm just using New York as an example. So it's like, okay, if we're coming down, they're coming down not with the let's collaborate.
Right.
They must be coming down to take over what we got going on too. So there's going to be a rift with that no matter what the industry is. Whether it's drugs, whether it's promotions, whether it's anything, we can't let somebody do that. So I think it was kind of a give and take on the whole, well, I don't embrace y'all, y'all don't embrace them. And I'm trying to remember who I was talking to. I might have had this conversation with all three of y'all at one point because I'm big on DJs and stuff. We want to scale it back around. I'm big on DJs. I personally feel if an event is whack and the people are there, I personally blame the DJ all the time. That's just me. And so, let's just say we've had, matter of fact, I know for a fact, and I don't have to name no names, but I had a talk with Hove, and he was like, yo, and I was like, well, you got this person, and he was like, we need to keep somebody from here because they have a certain level of people that are here to see them or they'll follow them. Right. Now, initially off top, I was like, who cares? But then as time was going and then as I started, doing more things with people locally and stuff, I'm like, well, you do need that faction involved. So I got a chance to see it and scale it back. It scaled back my ideas on how business could get ran with people because I came down here with the same, not with the F Baltimore, F any place else. Oh, you from New York? I'm from New York. We best friends. You see what I'm saying? Like that. But I've also traveled before. I got an uncle that lived out here for years, so I came down here a lot. And it was just like, you know what? I need to start embracing people from everywhere. Oh, yeah. And that's how I was starting to be able to be like, I can go any place now pretty much in the country. I'm going to know somebody like that. And
that's how I grew up.
Pretty much.
That's why, like, a lot of times I was out and about in Baltimore. I remember back in Eden's Lounge days, I was like, yo, how do you... Because people would be like, didn't you go to city? You know what I'm saying? And the people would mistake me for a Baltimorean because he's not over me on the side. I still do. Because I have a huge family everywhere. So I never really got locked in to a particular hood or a particular region. I would go and visit my family in North Carolina. I have family in Baltimore, DC. And everywhere of people around my age that lived in different hoods. So I got a real experience with Southeast hanging with my cousin Bump, which Southeast is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something they make up. I got a real experience here in Baltimore with my cousin Ray Ray. So it's all the...
You got a cousin Ray Ray too?
I got a cousin Ray Ray too.
I don't think you're not black if you don't have a cousin Ray Ray somewhere.
Ray Ray man.
Right. So I never felt like I never really felt regional. Occasionally I'll say a word or something where people be like, you from New York? But typically people don't know where I'm from often because I never felt that way. I feel like I got family everywhere,
That's good. No, we gonna go so back to that. Never mind me. When he knows when I go like that, that means we fading out because I try not to. Because on that early episode, back to Morgan for a second. Because like I said, timelines are big to me.
Right.
Before, what was like the mode on campus when y'all got there? And this is kind of a two-parter because I want y'all to kind of go into it. Y'all got y'all time. What was the mode and who had it on Smash when it came to the parties? Now, I kind of want Chase to go first on this one only because he's a little older than us. He's the elder statesman. So we talking another generation or whatever. Because I was still in high school.
He wasn't going to parties. Chase was the mother.
No, that's not balance.
Go ahead. Tell me what was the mode?
Chase.
Go ahead.
So again, I'm coming out straight out of Park Heights.
All right.
The consciousness really hadn't hit that.
Okay.
Right? So when I came there, the two cats that had it on Smash was the Qs. Okay. So the Qs did a party called Nice and Nasty.
Yep.
That was a party that was the big party everybody wanted to go to every year.
All right.
And then the biggest DJ on campus was OG. All right, and I can't think of his name. It was one other dude, Kappa dude, right? Those are the two DJs. And when I got to Morgan, all the parties was in McKeldin. Right? So I went to the McKeldin parties. The big and the Jersey guys. All right? OG was a Jersey DJ. First person I heard before I let go. Nobody played that shit. Definitely not Baltimore, because I was everywhere in Baltimore. It was OG, right? So when I got there, and then, of course, I also came in, me, Mike, Garth, we came together. All right? So
TTC Golf.
Yes.
TTC Golf.
Okay.
So TTC and them, they formed TTC, and me, Moose, Sean, who was from, Sean technically is from Harlem. He's from Harlem, but he moved to Jersey from Orange, from East Orange.
All right.
Brett, who was from Mount Vernon, and Kenyatta, who was from Linden, Jersey. We created 4X. All right, because now I'm starting to get influence by the country. So we created 4X.
All right.
So we had TTC and 4X. I was the main guy in 4X.
Was it 4X a part of GQ or the?
Yeah, it was. You had 3 GQs in there. Me, Born, because all of us became 5%ers. I'm True Born God Allah, right? That was right there, right? I'm still True Born God Allah. Like that's shit most people don't know.
Yeah, that's it. He took me back to the 80s. I remember we was in middle school. I like that.
Look, facts. I got 120.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So the consciousness really started with the 5%. It didn't start with nothing else.
Okay.
Right. So we had 4X. All of us 3 GQs. All right, and Kenyatta from Jersey.
All right.
So TTC, they was being influenced by what was happening with Puff. So our stuff was still, we still part of the Jersey vibe. They were all older than me, but TTC they came in there with the Puff, with the badges, with the fly, with the Jiggy.
I definitely did call. Shout out to TTC, but because I definitely called them the bad boy of parties.
They were
when I came.
They were. And then they revolutionized. And then after that, nobody had it on Smash but TTC at that point in time. Who had it on Smash? Everybody may have done something.
Okay.
But nobody had it on Smash. They had it on Smash.
And
go ahead, Alf.
So when I got there, again, like I told you, I was lost. I had to get into the college culture. You see how he said the Qs and all these. I'm not making this up. I really looked at every last fraternity as a game. Bottom line is where I'm coming from. When you have a group of people hanging together, they looking out for each other. We said, oh, these are our boys, but no, you're a gang. That's when you look back at it, I'm talking about.
That's
crazy.
Going
back to Decepticons, Low Life. I'm talking about New York shit.
Yeah.
So when I get there, Qs, Alphas, all the rest of them. Anyway, get there. Those were the parties, like he said. Nice and nasty. Of course, TTC was doing their thing. And some people from Philly was doing their thing too. But I was coming from also a nightlife atmosphere in New York, where that's what we did. Every night we went to all the clubs in New York. If this person gonna be, most of these rappers that are called old school rappers now, they were trying to get on. They didn't have records at that time. When you talk about Tribe Called Quest, Naughty by Nature, Busta, all of them, they were in the same parties we were at. You talking about DJs, SNS, Clue, Funk Flex. Those were the DJs back home. So when I came to Morgan, I'm like, oh man, damn, they don't even have. I don't hear a lot of reggae music. Come from Flatbush, that's reggae music. So long story short, I'm speeding up. Met Fernando, and I said, yo, you know what? I went to a few parties at Morgan, but the fraternities had a lot. I know you said TTC they had their little stuff going on. They had their niche because now you had somebody from the tri-state area doing something. Then you had Stick and Move, right?
Yeah, Stick and Move. Yeah.
Right, you had Stick and Move. So, but I still was like, this is not like home. It's like Ron G. So then I started saying, yo, you know what? If I know these guys, if I get these guys to come and DJ, so remember I said I had $75,000. That I never started the business. I never did none of that. I was chipping away. I'm living. I'm not doing what I was doing because Morgan started to be so comfortable for me. I'm meeting people with 2 I've joined the modeling agency. Like girls was like, yo, you should this, because I had a bald head back then. I was in shape. I ain't doing that. I don't want nobody to be mad, but at that time I was like, I ain't doing that gay shit. That's how you looked at modeling back then.
They gonna cancel you now.
No, what they gonna cancel? I ain't got nothing. Look, that's how I looked at modeling.
That's crazy, B.
Those were the guys that were doing it.
Yeah.
Except for my guy Tyson Bedford, he from Brooklyn too. But it made the bald head situation good. I went for the wrong reason. Got there, all these girls. Oh yeah, I'm being this, right? But the bottom line is, that was the mood and the culture. It made me get so comfortable. I'm spinning. Then I'm like, yo, what the fuck? This money ain't coming back. So me and Fernando got together. We started doing little reggae parties, Soca Palace, here and there, this, that, and other. Then we did. Then we had.
You was doing it.
Right. Then we got locked in when we got the inside on Teamsters. We like, oh, they hold 1,000 people. Okay, because then I stopped going home as much. I used to go home every weekend trying to hold on to that, right? And make money. But them young boys, basically was like, yo, you don't even be here, yo. You know what I mean? So now I put two and two together. Teamsters on the whole, me and Fernando, when we did the first party there, it was called Nothing But Entertainment. We did Teamsters Hall, hold 1,000 people. We charged $7 in advance, $10, $12 at the door. Originally, we used the Fruits of Islam for the security. Originally, they was about their business because we got there because that's what everybody else was using.
Yeah.
Then we said, yo, you know what? Jamal on the football team. These some big guys. They need money. Everybody get $24 a piece. They were doing the security. So now we walking out of there. If you do a party every week or every 2 weeks at Teamsters, we rent the buses and all that stuff, $10 a head, hold 1,000 people. You have a lot of Morgan is a whole, like, it's not, it has nothing to do with Baltimore. Baltimore's on the outside. They own their own city. Yep. You got kids there that they don't go home every weekend. They need something to do. They used to get on that bus, pay the $10. So now we got 900 people in there. When me and Fernando was like, yo, after that I said, yo, I'm gonna continue doing this. We took some losses, of course, SNS can tell you about that, snowstorm. We try to bring artists down and all that stuff. But, and then I formed with TTC. It was TTC, Anisha and Jingling Baby. We started to click.
That's mid-90s.
No,
Once you said Jingling Baby, I haven't heard that in years.
Right. This is right. So we started to form a clique.
I'm here now. Look, that's not the story. I'm in the building now. Go ahead.
How we what really put the glue in between all that was Chaos.
Shout out to my man Chaos. He's my all-time favorite Morgan DJ. Yo, I tell him that all the time.
I gotta give him his props.
He's my all-time favorite Morgan DJ, and that's a lot of respect to a lot of other DJs there. But Chaos is my all-time favorite.
And I want to get into that, and then I'm gonna leave it up to Zeke with it. But what happened with that was I would tell my friends when they were like, "Yo, you done it?" Yo, because we used to go to college. We used to ride down to Atlanta, all these colleges before. But that's all I knew was parties at colleges, right? So then when I went to Morgan, I was telling my mans and they was like, yo, you ain't even tell us to come down. I said, yo, you don't even want to come down there because they don't even play reggae music like we do at home. I'm downplaying it. Mm-hmm. One situation, TTC had a party at Teamsters, told them they come down. So they coming down, they looking at, people bumping me and all that stuff. They like, yo, D, listen, we not back home. These kids, they cool, they nice. They here to get education. You know what I mean? Like, they not gangster.
I used to call them,
but I'm like,
good kids.
Yeah.
These are good kids.
But they used to be, I'm talking about, and I'm not even talking about nobody from them. I'm talking about New York niggas.
Yeah.
They been there acting all hard, this and that, and I'm like, yo, I don't even know you back in New York. You was not outside, right? But I had to tell my guys, like, yo, don't jump on everything because they not really hard. Just leave them alone. They having fun. Right. They having fun. They the man down here. You know what I mean? Let them live. You know.
Fantasy.
So as we going on, we having a good time at Teamsters. All of a sudden, I hear this reggae music playing, and he's not playing radio reggae music. he playing the shit that we listen to Flatbush. So my man tapped me and said, yo, I thought you said they don't be playing no good reggae music down here. I said, yo, I don't even know who that nigga is. Yo. I don't know who he is. So
who was it?
Chaos. I got up on the stage. I went to the stage. I said, yo, what's your name, man? He said, Chaos. I said, where you from? He said, well, my parents are from Antigua, but I'm from Queens. I said, oh, okay. Now I see what's going on. Then me and him start kicking it from there. And then I started to say, well, instead of paying all these guys, Clue and all of them come, because Clue went on a Hard Knock Life tour, and then he went from $600 to $3,000 with Jay-Z. Oh my goodness, and that was later though. But Chaos, I started to try to book Chaos for parties. That's when the clashes start coming.
Okay, stop right there. Because you gonna see, for somebody that doesn't like timelines, you're jumping from the end of the 90s to the beginning. Go ahead, Zeke. Tell me what, I don't even know. Because y'all answering a lot of stuff that I was going to ask anyway. Right. So now, since Hov detailed his, you need to detail to me what made you be like, you know what, it's time for me to jump into the ring.
Well, it's funny because we have an event coming up. Shameless plug.
No, it's not a shameless plug, because that's what it's for.
Nude event, May 29th.
We'll get to that.
So that's me, D Hov, and our good brother, we more native that we, and we were just on a conference call talking about, plugging in influencers. So at Morgan, I never did parties at any point, but now looking back on it, I was an influencer. I didn't, there was no word for that at the time.
Right.
So when I first got to Morgan, it depends on when you met me, how you would categorize me.
Yeah.
If you met me when I first got to Morgan, you're gonna remember a whole lot of fatigues, a whole lot of hiking boots, not fucking Tim's. Tim's was like for regular niggas. Niggas who was really from New York had A solos, Bass, you know what I'm saying, at that time. So that was, I had hiking boots and fatigues with a whole, so people who met me then, like
skiing and Woolwich.
Right. They'll be like, Woolwich had to have the face, you had, the whole shebang. So people who knew me then would be like, but if you met me later, like post GQ, I had on suits, because of this man right here, you know what I'm saying? So when about my second or third year of being at Morgan, when I first got there, I still kind of felt disconnected from college. I felt like it was something I wanted to do. I had to do for my moms. I knew was important to do, but I didn't feel like what I considered a average or regular college student. I didn't fully embrace it. I didn't think I was tougher than anybody or anything like that. I just didn't feel connected for whatever reason. So I was never on campus, like I said earlier. Me, my guy Rock, and OJ, both from the Bronx. They went to Bronx Science together. We met. His mom and my mom were waiting on a payphone. This was back in the payphone eras to find out where we were gonna take up residence because the dorms were full. So my mom's heard his mom on the phone. I think she had the phone first, and she was like, "You're from the Bronx," and my mother's from Forest. So they start rapping. And so then he and I, that's shout out to Rasheem Freeman, my man Rock. That was my guy from when I stepped foot on Morgan's campus. But anyway, so we had a lot of gatherings in the house. We had a house across the street. So
that was y'all joint?
Yeah.
No, because I've never been. I always hear people will come to me and be like, "Yo, they got something going across the street." I'm like, hell no.
Right.
I was like, hell no, I ain't going to that shit. I'm good. I never entertained it. Like people, they stopped asking me. I was like, across the street, y'all good. Go ahead.
So our part of the experience was like something out of a Snoop Dogg video. It wasn't no business about it.
I felt that.
It was people coming to, parking on the lawn, gang of Tangeray. My man Keith, shout out to Keith Thomas, selling weed out our bathroom. You don't gotta go nowhere. We got everything. And we had a ball. I never looked at partying as a business for me personally. And then ironically, I saw cats around me not finishing, dropping out. And so when I met D Chase early, but we weren't friends. I knew who he was. He knew who I was. And with all of my trappings, as we call them, the face, the mask, Chase would always, you know, be like, "Oh, you the man, da 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 da, you know, good brother, da da da." And I never really got it. You know what I'm saying? I knew it felt good. It always feels good to get props, but I never really got like, why is this guy giving me props? Like I was trying to stay below the radar, because to me I felt like the reason I had gotten kicked out of previous schools was that I was too much into the, you know, whatever I felt the scene was, the popularity, blah, blah, blah. So when I got to Morgan, I was like, I'm not gonna fuck this up. Go to class, have friends, you know, whatever I do, partying, I'll do it in my house. I'm not gonna get caught up in anything. But anyway, Chase all the time with, you know, with a good brother praising, you know, a really strong welcome. And I forget how it all panned up, but I knew, even though these were my guys, they were not finishing school. You know, they were starting to take less and less credits, having more and more, you know, for physiological, you know, ideological conversation about why we don't have to go to, you know, school. And I was like, I can't do this again to my moms. So I saw Chase as kind of somebody who I respected, you know, was respectable, but I knew he had graduated from Morgan, and I felt like he knows something I need to know. And so we started building a friendship. He had the muffin stand, and so I started working at the muffin stand first. Mm-hmm. Started working at the muffin stand first, and I never forget. I was working at the stand one day, and somebody from my previous life had pulled up. Big Jeep, big rims, and you know, he had jumped out, was like, you know, you good? You know, you selling muffins now? You know, and I remember Chase. He could tell I was uncomfortable, maybe even a little embarrassed in retrospect. And Chase just jumped right in. You know, what you need, brother? And the way he managed this cat, who was kind of making me feel embarrassed about my decisions to try to do the right thing and sell muffins. And I saw that strength didn't necessarily have to come from that. You know, strength could come from being positive. Strength could come from selling muffins and fruit, you know. And it further, you know, bonded us as brothers. And that's when he introduced me to Gentleman Equality, GQ, and I became a GQ. And so when people who meet me after my first few years at Morgan, then they may know me as somebody who's wearing suits and doing wake-up sessions. So younger people will know that Z, you know. And then ironically, it's funny how, you know, what did Jay-Z say? You can change, but that's just the top layer. Right. You know, he was who he was before he got here. Mm-hmm. So then, you know, when I graduated from Morgan, I was still in that role, because that was what was beneficial to getting jobs. You know, I worked at Hopkins. I did legal pharmaceutical sales. Mm-hmm. And so that role of the suit and the order was still beneficial, and the parties was just a side gig for me at that time. The first party I did was actually the year I graduated. Me, Chase, and speaking of modeling, brother Andre Brown. You know, Andre Brown had his first big gig. I forget what it was, but he was like, you know, on some level a celebrity. You know, especially for us Morgan alums, who was like, Dre, you know, gotta have Dre come down, do parties for homecoming, because we didn't feel like, I know I'm kind of jumping around, but we didn't feel like there was a party that spoke to us. You know, it was like, like I was having gatherings at my house. Yeah. That was good. You know, those were some good parties. You know, I never stopped that.
You gotta talk about the crib. You gotta talk about the crib.
Oh, I had a nice crib.
The crib was sick.
I had a crib. It was top floor of this brownstone downtown on Preston and Charles. Mm-hmm. And then access to the roof. Now every row, they don't even call them brownstones here. They call them.
No, they brownstones. Don't get brownstones mixed up with row houses.
Right, no, it wasn't row house.
Brownstone.
So no, it wasn't no row house. It was a brownstone. It was 3 levels of huge apartment, just like in Harlem. Yeah, they got them in Brooklyn too, and people don't know that they have them in Baltimore too. You got them in Mount Vernon here in Baltimore.
Yeah, that is my uncle owns. Yeah, he owns his joint. Yeah.
Okay, and then a lot of them in what's just north of Mount Vernon, like below where Finney lives. Bolton Hill. Bolton Hill has a whole bunch of them.
Okay.
So anyway, I had a top floor of one of them joints. Used to have get-togethers. This was, last year or so, graduating from Morgan. So Chase, always being an entrepreneur, mindset, said, yo, you need to take this shit outside of the house. We could cake out on this. He said, my house was getting full. I mean, it was getting full. It was packed in my house. So always a good time. So I was like, all right, fuck it, let's do it for homecoming. And it was a perfect space for us because a lot of people felt like, and it's funny looking at the cycles of parties now, and I got to smile at D-Hove, D-Hove, because D-Hove, when we having conversations, D-Hove will always say, I've been here before, da-da-da. We like, God damn, Hove, can anything be new? Anything be new around you?
When you're a vampire, you've been around for centuries.
But now I see how, why you always do that when it's my turn, though?
Because I like because he's rocking, but he's what you call it. The thing about it is he's segueing to where I need to go. Is you keep giving me the good segues.
Okay,
that's why I'm like I'm not telling you to stop. I just need you to keep this segueing.
Do your thing.
That's all I want.
So anyway, I see where he always be like, all right, I've been here before, because a lot of the things we're doing now, I'm like, oh shit, we did this is the cycle. You influencer, you get more of a business mind, you become a promoter, a business owner, and then you go into another larger aspect from college to doing things for the city, and now you're an influencer again. Mm-hmm. So we're not putting together necessarily the mayor's ball, but they're calling us to get people there.
Thanks.
And then so you realize you don't attach your ego to either role. Mm-hmm. Because it depends. Like in the Preakness now, the Preakness role, I'm working with D Chase and Finney on the Preakness side. I'm in an influencer role, but then on the nude event with D Chase and Dawee, I got to get the contract signed. So it's like you play whatever role you are, and if your ego is attached to being the contract signer, then you're gonna miss out on opportunities on bigger levels. Mm-hmm. But anyway, real quick, wrapping up, my story about my first party was actually after I graduated. I didn't do a business party, I'm talking about outside of my household, where I rented a venue and da-da-da-da-da until after I graduated. So once I graduated, I felt like my house was full again of people who didn't feel like there was a party for them. And this is what brought me to flashback to how things are cycles. So at that time, people felt like the parties that were there, the Overdoing Party TTC, since they were parties that they went to when they were in school, that now that they were graduated, they were supposed to be some other kind of party. Mm-hmm. So, and then now looking back on it, as seeing them now as businessmen, not just people responsible for providing us with entertainment, they looking for the masses. Because not at that time, because not everybody comes back. Right. So it's like, okay, some come back, but we're going to provide where we can get the masses, which is where a lot of times we find ourselves now. Like, do we do something for the masses, or do we just cater to our peers? So I was in a unique position then where our peers felt like we want to do something that's just for us, something more personal, and so we were in the perfect lane. At that time, it was me, D Chase, and Kamal Kubas, shout out to Kubas, who had Dre as, we did Dre as the special guest host, who ironically didn't come down because his lady was fearful, because that's when the DC Sniper was out.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he never even made it down, even though he was host, because he was scared of the DC Sniper situation. So we did our party in that niche of where Morgan felt like the previous entertainment providers were doing something more for business. Mm-hmm. Ironically, jump now, sometimes we get accused of that. Even though not for age, but people are like, because we're doing a lot of times parties for the city, and what y'all need to say? Call me up. I'm sure call you up. Man, we need something a little more from, you need a DJ that's more from, because we want to hear 90s hip hop, da-da-da. So ironically, the same critique that you give us now is the same critique that brought me into the business. So it's funny how things come full cycle. And so now knowing that, it's like, all right, I'm not going to ignore Yanis's call. How do we balance this thing out? How do we make sure we still take care of our core base, but still allow the business to grow? Because we don't
have to stay there. Biggest loss early. I'm clearly talking early.
Yeah.
Like, what did you like? And tell me, like, not just because of the loss we get financially, but where you personally was like, yeah, I contributed to that one. I contributed to this big loss.
Yeah. The whole thing about me is I was in so many different lanes.
Okay.
Right. So during this period of time, I'm managing Ryan Devon. So
I remember that.
Yeah. So we are literally developing what people commonly understand as a neo soul scene around the country. Before I did that, I was developing the spoken word scene. So I was in Brooklyn every week. He didn't even know that. I was at Brooklyn Moon Cafe right there at Fulton Avenue. I was there every week. Because that was the heart of the spoken word, national spoken word movement, was at a small cafe in Brooklyn. Myself, he was in Baltimore. Myself, Jessica Care Moore, the Boogeyman, like all these cats, national cats, we all were there. Talam, AC, Lamar Hill, all the like, we were there together, right? So I was winning in those worlds.
Okay.
All right? I was winning in the neo soul world. All right? I'm a revolutionary spirit. I got into promotion as a strategy because I knew it was a community of people who was eventually going to influence everything. And I knew that naturally, because I'm not flashy, all right? I'm really plain Jane. You know what I'm saying? I'm just locked in when I'm locked in, that I know they would like him, right? So our relationship was based upon, to your point earlier, no, they like you. All right? They would never see me coming because they don't know I'm always thinking. I'm a thinking guy, right? He's not a thinking guy, he's a superior thinking guy also. So my biggest loss really wasn't in the promotions game, but I was doing promotions at the time and it affected the game.
Okay.
So we were promoting the Million Woman March.
That's true.
Talk about, there was a Million Woman March?
Yes.
Oh, it was terrible promotion.
No. There was over 1 million women.
No, places. I'm not even funny. I really didn't know.
Well, you weren't really supposed to know. They didn't want a bunch of dudes
to
thinking
show
like,
up.
so it was very strategic in the marketing early. That's why I know, like, my thing was like, I'm not a promoter early, before promoter was a
word, I think that.
I was like, we're marketing, we're thinking about who to reach and how to reach it.
Okay.
Right. So to the point is,
all right,
I still got, we hustlers, so I'm still at Morgan. I still got the food trucks and all of that, the food, and you know what I mean? We still doing that game. So I take all the money that I had at that time was like 30 grand, maybe 35 grand, right?
I was walking around with money, huh?
Yeah.
75, 30.
Yeah. $600,000. We young, right? I take all of that because I helped to produce the Million Man March. People don't know that. Like when the history is written, I was with Minister Farrakhan working on Kennedy Street in New York, in Washington, D.C., which was the Sigma headquarters, putting that together. So fast forward, I didn't get a chance to make the money in the Million Man March because I was working. Right? I'm like, I'm not doing this for this one. Yo, we gonna get paid, right? So I literally get the biggest U-Haul you could find. It was the 30-foot U-Haul. They don't even make them no more, right? I had 2 vans. I pack it with all kinds of stuff, right? Burgers, smoked turkey sausage. Now here's the funny thing, yo. All right, smoked turkey sausage, frankfurters. We had juice from concentrate. Right? Yeah, juice from concentrate. We had cabbage. We had all these fryers. And we had these woks, right? Because you had to cook it fresh. I hired 30 guys, yo. Everybody in the trucks. We go up to Philly.
That's for the Million Woman March.
This is for the Million Man Woman. I know it's going to be we going to get paid, yo.
Right.
I'm going to make $200,000.
The Million Man March happened and nobody got paid. Right. So now you say, okay, it's not going to happen again.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. I got 30,000, right? I need another 10,000. So I go, I'm at my man's spot. I said, yo, I need 10,000. You give me 10,000. All right. It was like, say I needed 10,000 on Friday. It's Monday. You give me 10,000. I'll give you 14 or 15,000 when I come back. All right. So my man was like, yo, I don't have it, but it was a dude in there. He was like, yo, how much you need? I was like, yo, I need 10,000. I gotta get it. He said, yo, I'll give you the 10,000. So I said, I need the money. I know where it's coming from. We go down to Gold and Pennsylvania Avenue. I won't tell the address.
All right.
We go up his house, into his house. He turns a speaker around. He gives me 10 stacks. The speaker is full of stacks. And I'm thinking, this motherfucker just showed me where this is not good, because I don't need to know this, right? This is not good, but I need this 10,000, right? So we get the 10,000. I had bought, now understand that the spots at the Million Woman Watch was like $2,500 a spot. I bought 3 of them. All right? So we got the strip. We like the Million Man March is there. We supposed to be right here on the way you come. You can't miss us, yo. Okay. Now, on that spot, you're supposed to have me. I'm supposed to be next. I paid this kind of bread. I'm supposed to be next to the water supply. Right. All right? Everything is right there. You're supposed to have my stuff. We got there. It rained the day before. They wrote it in chalk. So everybody started scrambling to take spots. They took my spot. They took all of our spots. I had 3. I paid $75. They gone. So now we 30 dudes up in Philly at the Million Man Woman March. We putting it together, Mo. All right, we still set about test. We getting it. We said, yo, where's the water? They said the water's a mile away. We got juice by concentrate, yo. We trying to sell 50,000 juices. We got 50,000. No, this is the numbers. I'm giving you real numbers. We are prepared to serve 50,000 people. All right.
And why do we have juice from concentrate? Because it's cheaper. You know, my brother, why don't you just buy some goddamn juice?
Yo, so
you need water with the concentrate.
Hey, no, bro, it's supposed to be next to the water supply. Yo, I'm gonna kill him. Hey, ho, I'm gonna kill him. Zeke, I'm gonna kill him, yo. Hey, no. But here's the thing, right? At this time, I'm seeing this fine girl. Yo, she was beautiful. I don't know if she was that smart. I sent her to get, I think 50,000 was the number we was working on. 50,000 hot dog rolls. Right. We get there, we open it up. She got 50,000 hamburger rolls. We don't have hamburgers, yo. We got smoked turkey sauce.
That's crazy.
Smoked turkey sauce. we like, yo. I'm sitting there thinking.
Yo, I already see the loss.
No. Hey, ho. So now understand with my guys.
Right.
Everybody, we still compose. We just trying to figure it out because I can't go home with
you. You have to flip something.
Yo,
money got to come from somewhere.
Listen, we stopped smoking the turkey sausage.
Right.
We started using water. The fried cabbage up.
Right.
We put the smoked turkey sausage on the hamburger rolls,
right.
and we out there using our personalities and our chunks. Zeke is right beside me. Understand? My relationship, my initial relationship with Zeke is peer relationship. My initial relationship is this is my mentee and this is my trusted brother.
Right.
So he's on my hip.
Right.
All right. I had him on my left hip and Scotty J on my right hip.
Right.
So I was covered by these 2 brothers, right?
And this was before I was, old with a little belly. So.
Yeah.
So ladies like,
ladies like.
Come on, hold on. So did you subconsciously, even though that's your brother, he was like, nah, just curly hair, light skin.
All day.
We need him right here. Okay,
all day. He's all day.
I wanted that clear.
All day. No. Just look. I had the whole strip in Morgan was loaded with the best looking brothers. I had Dre Brown, Zeke Ray DeVoe, Scotty Johnson. The only one I ain't have is you 2. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't talk to you. You know what I mean? But we had the strip locked. We took the same concept. It's the Million Man March.
I'm taking a mega muffin stand, baby.
Yeah, I'm taking 30 of the most handsome brothers up there. Who you buying from but us?
Right.
We locking it down.
They were lined up.
We still sold all of it. We exploding, yo. But I can't sell enough. I can't sell enough because we just don't have the stuff. But we moving it. I mean, we never get a moment off, right?
This is good.
So here's the thing, Mo. Here's the thing. All right, I go back. I only made like 13,000, right?
Then give it to that dude.
No. I still gotta pay my guys.
He ain't saying nothing about the expenses yet.
I still gotta pay my guys.
Right.
Okay. So I'm left with $7,000. Right? I give them the 5. I'm left with 7. I get back home. I'm supposed to see the guy the next day. Million Man March like Sunday. I'm supposed to see him Monday. Right? I call a girlfriend of mine. I say, look, I gotta go in this house. All right? I said, I need you to keep this car running. Because I'm coming back out of this house.
Right.
All right? Leave this door open, and when I come back out, if I say go, go. Like, this is a facts, right? Now understand, I'm already 40-some thousand down, and I owe this cat bread, right? I don't have no bread. I'm done. Right? I'm on my head.
Well, you had hamburger bun bread.
No. Oh,
That's crazy, man.
So, yo, I go in the house. I walk up the steps. He getting there with me. I said, yo, things ain't go how I thought they was going to go. Right? I said, listen, I got $7,000. All right? You give me a month, I give you the other 5 or 6, whatever the number was, right? I think I was giving them 4,000 on the 10, right? I'll give you the other, just give me like a month, right? So I tell him the story of what happened. He's looking, I can see the empathy. Now, the other part is, on the bed is 2 guns. On the bed, I'm looking at the guns. By the guns, there's a window, right? He's positioned right here, I'm positioned by the door. So now I'm trying to slide over to the guns, right? So we end up talking, I'm thinking like, I'm gonna have to throw this guy out the window. No, this is real talk.
Right.
Because this is not somebody you play with. I knew what I was dealing with coming in, right? I'm like, I'm gonna have to throw this cat out the window. So but we talking though, right? And then he says, yo, you know what? He said, for whatever the reason, yo, he said, I believe you. I said, yo, I'm telling you the truth. He said, yo, I respect the fact that you came back because you didn't have to come back. I don't know your name. He didn't know my name. He said, yo, we good. You don't even have to give me the bread that you owe. I was short on the bread. He said, you don't got to even give me that. He said, do me a favor, just don't tell nobody. Right? I walk down the steps, get in the car, I pull off. The next day, I take all of the stuff. We can understand we still got the truck. I go over to Pennsylvania and North, and for 7 days straight with no sleep, I take everything that was left. I sold cabbage, hamburger rolls, everything that was in that truck, I sold it on the street until I got that money. That's what we come out of. So even though it was a loss, I went into a depression after that. Right? I moved back with my mother. I was in the basement, Scotty J Tate, the basement of insanity, because it took a lot out of me. Because the only thing I never had, like people go to college and want a job. I never wanted that. You know, I had a hustler, I have a harvest hustler spirit, I'm gonna make it happen. But I couldn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Because it zapped all of my energy, bro. That was the biggest loss, and not financial loss. I have a bigger financial loss. But as far as what I lost in that was I lost my power to a degree to want to have that fight in the entrepreneurial spirit. I had to find that back. So that was my loss.
That's deep.
Yeah,
That's
very deep.
And I forgot about that, man, because that actually helps me to remember that and see the comeback and the continuous comeback.
Yeah.
Because I went through that later. Because in the beginning I was just winning. I ain't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? Just blessing after blessing from the, it'll be a small, loss with that first part. But after that, it was like I did a party. I thought about who would partner. I was really good at pulling people together that hadn't worked together before. And marketing.
Genius.
So that's still kind of my thing. Like, all right, who are the key people, and then putting together, a product that cats tweak, but like, oh, that's a good product. Like. I remember one time the Oaks said to me, he said, hold on, Zeke, it ain't that I don't got ideas. He said, but your shit sound good. So we riding with that, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I built. But I got off track briefly in my promotion career, and I had this similar feeling, and I forgot you had went through that, and it kind of gives me a different, like you said, inspiration and strength. Because mine was later, it was after Mirage. Yeah. And so that was after doing parties for many years, not really having any significant losses, just kind of winning. And so with Mirage, it was like the winning was almost, I guess, at an apex for that particular height. And the money was, so my biggest loss was really biggest win. And so Mirage, a lot of money was being made at Mirage. And I had a deal with him, kind of like Diddy got lucky with Ciroc, where the partnership, far as what he thought the earning potential was, he was cool with. But he didn't realize what the earning potential was. So when he had to give me my cut, you could tell when somebody don't want to give you a cut. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so every time it was some kind of reason for something to not quite be what it's supposed to be, but it was still a significant amount where I tolerated a little bit of what I knew was a little shaving going on.
Mm-hmm.
But back to your question about the biggest loss, out of the blue, you know, this dude, you know, not from our community, you know, what's his ethnicity?
He's
Persian, right.
Persian.
And so, you know, it wasn't really a connection there to be empathetic. It was just based on how he felt that day. And one day he felt like it was too much of a headache and just chained the club up.
Wow.
So, I had a partnership with him, so I had keys to the club. He put an actual chain, like Joe Clark, right? He Joe Clark did. And I was like, yo, he wouldn't answer his phone. And I was just like, yo, and I put all my eggs into this basket. And even I put a post about it. Like, I know people say you shouldn't put all the eggs in the basket, but I feel like this basket is good enough. And I think I might have got a 1.5 year run, roughly maybe 2 years out of Mirage. And
let me stress what he's saying, man. People don't get it. What he's saying, yo. Like, when you doing these events and you moving like that income is just like you working somewhere and you know you gonna have that check.
right.
Especially when you get it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? He got money coming in. Then not only that, you got other people money.
Mm-hmm.
When you doing it, and I'm saying this because I went through that when we were doing the day parties at Red Maple when the owner told me we can no longer have it. I had people money 2 months in advance for tables.
Yeah.
Some of that money I done put on the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now you telling me, I'm like, oh my God. So I had to get with the team and say, yo, we owe this person $600, we owe this person $1,000. Like you had to, it just shuts your whole life down. So when he's saying that, I remember that time, and I remember though, like talking to Zeke, where he probably don't remember, but any idea I brought to him, he was like, oh yeah, for real, yeah, okay. He wasn't there. he like, I'm like, yo, I'm trying to tell you, come over here on the day party, this, that, and that. Like when you got on the day party, you was like, like, I don't even be here. I don't even like you. Like, it's not because you starting all over again, and then you went through all that not just financial, is other things that
It's
go
like
along with it.
liver punch.
Right.
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
glad he brought that up too, because once you get back and rolling, it's easy to forget. Because who want to remember some shit that make them feel depressed?
Right.
You don't want to think about it.
Right.
But it's good that this is happening here. You know, all of us, for me in particular, to be like, all right, you were down. Not only did you make it back, cats you rock with were reaching out to you. You couldn't receive it because where you were mentally, but cats were reaching out to you. You know what I'm saying? And you, once you got through it, there was opportunities and doorways because cats, nobody forgot about you. You know what I'm saying? You just weren't there. You know what I'm saying? Everything was.
My wife had to tell me, and I was with him every day. I couldn't see it.
Right. Yeah. She was real. It was fucking depressing. But it's a blessing.
Winning is great, but when you win like that.
Yeah. So we talking, we unpacked a lot of stuff. And I don't even have to hide because there's things that I don't want to get left out because I think a lot of people just need to know these things and whatever. Promoters have a stigma of being playboys and just messing with all kind of chicks or whatever. How did that affect your personal relationships when it came to the women that you dealt with in the past, of course?
Well, I just want to say I'm happily married.
Of course.
It was challenging at first. I remember when I first met my wife and knew that this relationship was going to be different. I was very public. I told people, how I felt about it. That this, wasn't going to be the same type of relationship. And I give her credit, man. She was patient with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, from seeing pictures, learning how to take pictures differently. She's like, your hand should never be on a woman's hip in a picture. I'm like, yeah, a lot of stuff. I was like, hey, you tripping, But it was almost like sending your dog to obedience school. You know what I'm saying? It was just really
handcuffing.
Right. It was really just her patiently and sometimes not so patiently reminding me about what was appropriate and what wasn't, and we flawed, shit ain't perfect, but I look at, now being married 13 years from how it started to where we are now, and I'm just appreciative of her patience for the process, and it's not just on a woman to be patient, it's on us too as men in this industry to always be striving to get shit right. Knowing we ain't gonna always get it right, but I'm gonna try I'm not gonna make the same mistake. I'm gonna continue to, I know she get mad at this, and people just assume, a lot of women will assume that, oh, he know what's right, but it's a lot of stuff on that grayscale. You know what I'm saying?
As men, we live in a grayscale.
We live especially when you're in this business, because you're like, well, this is. And I remember, early in my relationship, people telling me, discouraging me, like, oh, she comes to your parties, you gonna kill your brand, da 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 da. How you gonna promote and and be married, da 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 da. And I remember telling her, because I was, that much in love, with her, that I said, look, maybe I shouldn't do parties. I was still had a day job at the time. I could just do this. And I give her credit. She was the one that said to me, like, no, what are you saying? Girls only come to your party because they want to sleep with you. Your parties ain't good? I was like, no, my parties are good. I think they're pretty good. She was like, so if your parties are good enough, they shouldn't be reliant on your availability. You should be working on building a product that can stand without you. And to this day,
confident woman. You have a confident wife.
Yeah, she's a very confident woman. But it pressured me to focus on my product, to focus on the events. And even to this day, like my event brand has never been Zekwe Events. It's events for good people. Some people, it wasn't until really big on social media that people even knew it was me. Okay. Some people just started to know the brand, E4GP. It was funny. I remember when I really realized I had done a pretty good job with my brand, was somebody asked, what does E4GP stand for? So they knew the initials, but weren't close enough to know what it stood for. And before I could even respond, the amount of people were like, what? You don't know it. Right. So I was like, okay, I'm at a place where I don't even have to explain my brand. People are doing it. But go back to your original question, man. My wife, I give her props. She forced me to learn how to build my brand outside of myself, so it's not as dependent on me. And now, I'm proud to see there's a lot of promoters who are married now or in relationships, but that was not, back in the day, that was not considered a smart business move to be in a committed relationship as a promoter.
The thing about it, I know Chase going next, the thing about it too, just to add to what you said with your wife now, said then or whatever, women have a thing also to understand what resentment will feel like. Because she might not have even brought that up, but the minute when you said, maybe I should stop doing it, she knew. He'll stop if I say stop right now, but at some point, he's going to resent me. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to ever tell me he resents me, but I'm going to feel it. When we go to events out, he's going to be looking around like, I could have been doing this, I could do it this way. And women are kind of keen in that. So I definitely give women the credit for that. When, like you said, bringing up the fact that she was patient, and women have that kind of foresight. That's why they're a lot more, with men,
intuitive.
They're intuitive, thank you. They're intuitive when it comes to that. Men, we're more so, we're problem solvers. So it's like, you got a problem, I'm in to solve it. If I can throw money at it, cool. If I can do this, but we may not always see things all the way to A to Z. I don't think we're coming short as women like to think. I think we do give you a good A to J. You know what I'm saying? Before it start getting a little funky around element OP. But we definitely give you, they might get funky around element OP. But because they definitely gonna think that we only think A to B. Like, give us a few more alphabets. Like, we thought this a little through. You know what I'm saying? Just because I didn't think it to Z, there's a lot of other alphabets before Z. So, and I'm so facetious. I'll be in the middle of an argument. My wife will be like, "Yo, you didn't think this A through Z?" I'm like, "It's A to Y." I'm like, yo, what's wrong with 8 and Y? I think that's pretty good or whatever. So, go ahead, Chase, because I know
I guess I'm a serial mistake maker. I make the mistake every week probably because of my brand. My brand is my spirit, right?
Yes.
And I can't stop being me. Our thing is, when we come to the party, we partying. If I'm there, I'm having a good time.
Yes,
I'm on the dance floor. I may be sweaty. I may be drinking. I may do a little too much. You know what I'm saying? For the circus and for my wife, right? But what I think my wife has to understand, had to understand, or not understand, is that I can't stop.
She supports. She understands.
Like she understands. She don't want to understand because I don't know how.
She don't like it.
She don't
but
like
she
it.
understands.
But because I don't know how to do nothing other than be myself. Like I like people. You know what I'm saying? Men or women. I'm pretty much in your grill. You know what I'm saying? I don't respect space. That's what they tell me. And it's not that I don't respect space. It's that I enjoy the exchange of human beings so much that I gotta be. I have to submerge myself in it. Right? So when you have a spirit where, like that feeds your soul, to not do that means to die. Right? So I make a choice. All right? Do I die or do I feed my soul? And because for me, the promotions game is a strategy, all right? It's a business, yes, but it's not a business, it's a strategy. I had 3 choices, all right? Because I'm a revolutionary in real life. All right? Everything that I've done has been a strategic move to bring us closer to where we have to be as a people, right? So I had a choice of being a preacher, because preachers have a charismatic personality. I can speak, I can bring people together. I can do that, right? People know me as that. That was the expectation. Oh, I thought he was going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that, right? Because I'm not a hypocrite, right? 2 is a politician. I'm not doing that because politicians right now, they got to lie. And they got to lie because they haven't brought the people together to be strong enough to really support them so they can speak truth to power and not suffer the consequences. So I'm not going to do that because if you're going to hang me out to dry, I know you're not. You're going to support me, right? The third place I could go where I wanted to impact a lot of people, right, and where I saw the future was in promoters, 3 Ps. Preacher, politician, promoter. A promoter, somebody dies, they celebrate. Somebody's born, they celebrate. They graduate from college, they celebrate. They fucking drop out, guess what they do? Fuck this shit, I'm celebrating. All right, somebody gets shot, eventually it turns into a celebration. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, what human beings love is to celebrate life, right? But guess what I know how to do? Well, all right? Celebrate life. I'm happy to be here, and as long as I'm motherfucking here, it's gonna be a party. And if I'm partying, if it's a dude, we slapping hands as hard as I can to show him my love. And it's a girl, my hands is up, and we dancing and we engaging. Doesn't mean I gotta go to another level, nah, because I can have that exchange and not have that exchange, right? That's difficult, all right? But the bigger challenge, I think, for me and my relationship is for my wife to respect the business aspect of it, right? I think, she had made one statement one time. She was like, something. I got more money than you. She was saying it to some other people. I said, no, you don't. I'm just telling you, you don't. All right? So I said, your problem is you don't respect the business of it. You don't realize that all of your children go to private school, you live in a good home, you got a nice car. All that is a direct result of what I'm doing out here, on this lane right here that you don't respect. Because the expectation is you're smart, you're intelligent, you should get a traditional job, but I'm not a traditional dude. All right? Ain't that traditional about me. Now,
and I'm going to jump in. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. And this with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because they see you having fun.
Right.
So it's
fun is not a business.
It's not a business. To people, fun is not a business.
Yeah.
You're having too much fun. You need to get to work. I'm working. I'm working now.
Yeah.
Right.
This is work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like me and Z, we always had these conversations where I'm like, damn, I don't even feel like going to this happy.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
But once you get there.
Yeah, once you get there, but yeah, you gotta have fun. But that's still part of the business.
Right.
The business, that is the best. That's amazing. People are not coming there, you know what I mean, to be mad.
Right.
They're coming there to celebrate. And if you are the host,
I'm not even talking about our events. I'm talking about going to another person's event.
No,
it's like, cause your wife would say that you was Monday, Tuesday. I thought you was gonna be here Thursday. Yo, it's such birthday. I gotta go there.
Right.
Why?
Right.
You're not making any money off of it.
Right.
Why you gonna be here?
You gotta still
Your son, boom, 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 and you're like, listen, I'm going to make some money off of this. I need to be there.
You know, and a big part of my sacrifice is sometimes I'm not there, and I get, you know, I understand why some people just don't come and support me. Mm-hmm. Right. They're not supporting me because I don't give them as much as they would give me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's one of those things I have to make a choice. Yeah. Right?
Like, no, that's people don't realize that part of the business. We know if I don't go to this person's event, chances are they're not gonna come to mine. So it's you wanna go, you wanna support people, but in addition to that, for our personal, lives, people depend on us, not only do I wanna go support that person, feed the industry, as I like to say, we know the people are taking attendance, as Dio would say. Yeah. Especially if you are somebody who stands out in the sense that they're gonna know whether you were there or not.
I know everybody that was not at my birthday party. Dead serious.
Was I there? Yes.
Yes, you did.
I sure was.
You only missed one. Throughout the years.
Yeah. But to your point is, when we go to one another's
definitely at your birthday.
We do meet. No, but to your point is, it's a show of respect, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's how we honor each other, right? We honor each other by going to those critical events. Whether we're tired, whether we have another family engagement. It's been times when, I had to make a decision whether I was going to go to a family reunion with my wife or attend somebody's birthday party. And my wife was like, I don't understand. I say, sweetie, like I make all of the family reunions. I'll come down on Saturday, right? I'm still going to go. But this Friday, I got to be there, all right? And, I suffer because we talking about relationships. My wife is like, yo, now we up in my family reunion. We got 2 cars. How does that make me look? I say, well, look, I live with these people. I see your people, all right? Because the truth about the promoter family, the promoter community, is a family. You know what I'm saying? And, we all have, it's a hierarchy. When Hove show up if Hove or Zeke show up at the garage, it's an event. It changes the experience. Because they was like, yo, Zeke was at the event. They see Zeke at the party. It changes that, all right? Yeah. The fact that I, a lot of times, can't go out, if I attend an event, like, people respect that. Because those people who know my life, because my life is not just in this lane, I'm a community activist, I do all this other stuff, they respect the fact that this is something that I'm making an effort to do. You know what I'm saying? Although I would want to do it effortlessly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, that's definitely true. And of course, this is definitely not about me, but what you said about just attending each other's things and things like that. I had these shirts, Beautiful Lies, Ugly Truth, or whatever. This was years ago.
What was it again?
It said Beautiful Lies, Ugly Truth. Cause that was show.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So that joint. So
that was a hot joint for the record.
My wife was like, she was like, yo, she's a woman. She's filled out. Yeah. So she sold shirts and things like that. And a lot of women bought hers bought it because they saw how she looked. She just went into the living room throwing a shirt, and the women flooded her inbox and came. So so we got about 70, 80 shirts left. Haven't been out in a second, so I was just like, I can't just go in the living room, because she was like, yo, you're not even trying to sell the shirts. I'm like, yo, I can't just go in the living room and put on the shirt. So we didn't get into it heavily, but we kind of got into it a little bit. So I said, okay. I said, no problem. I said, I got to show her better than I can tell her or whatever. I go to Park out in D.C. Shout out to my man Quicksilver. What you call it? So we out there. I put the shirt on. I go into a stairway. Just tell my man, take a picture. Take the picture. I have my shades on, whatever. And I put the caption, because the caption is important on social media in the world we live in now. Right. I said, Beautiful Lies, Ugly Truth. I said, let me show you how the brand look in living color. Literally the next day I sold 50 shirts. The very next day. Right. And I was telling her, I said, people want to see me because in their minds, he's always out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just sitting, most times I post a picture, that event done happened 3 weeks ago to a month.
Right.
But I'm looking like, yo, now they looking like, you know what? Because I said in their mind, this nigga look cool out.
Right,
so maybe I'll look cool out with the shirt on. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I'm looking cooler than you. Maybe we'll equally look just as cool wearing the shirt out. Next day, My inbox is blowing up, texts blowing up. Yo, I need the shirt right now.
Right.
Got rid of them quick. And I was just like, yo, we have different strategies on how things go.
Right.
People view you as one thing, and that's great. But people want to see me as certain things. And I laughed because I remember my brother wanted to try to give me like an Oldsmobile for first car. And he got mad because my mother, I told him it was my mother then. I was like, nobody want to see me in no Oldsmobile. You know what I'm saying? He hated that because he thought it was too pompous or whatever. But then my mom, God bless her soul, she was like, we get home. She don't say the right thing. She didn't buy the Oldsmobile because she was like, she ain't bought it. She's like, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't want to see you in the Oldsmobile either. I was like, yeah, I said, how I look in an Oldsmobile or whatever. So I did have a question that I always wanted to ask because this always kind of bothered me when it came to promoters. And I used to think, is this done on purpose or is there not enough unity? So it's kind of two-partish because it's going to go, y'all can talk to collaborations after I say this. Do y'all ever, when I was at Morgan, and even though we're talking beyond Morgan, when I was at Morgan, I used to get disgusted. Let's just say, I don't want a Zeke or a GQ party the same night as a Stick and Move party. That doesn't make sense to me. You see what I'm saying? It's enough money and enough days for people to be like, and there would be times I'd be like, why couldn't y'all throw y'all shit Friday and y'all throw it Saturday? Because we were coming to both in that case. I hated when it was shoes. It was, you got to make a choice. You got to make a choice.
Good segue.
Because you, and I'm glad you know it's a segue because you know where I'm going to, and I'm going to throw you the alley-oop right now, and the rest of y'all to come in. Because I thought was one of the worst times this happened. It was two of the best events ever in my life. I spoke about this on Facebook before. April 26, 1996. I love Morgan weekend.
Mm-hmm.
TTC, they got Busta Rhymes. Fresh off of what was it? Extinction Level event, the first one. This is Busta's coming out party. He doesn't have to be the best rapper. He's the hottest thing in the country right now, over everybody. Right. Busta is in his bag, and I'm talking about he's banging out singles, and they not like this single's cool, this single. No, these are mega singles. So we see on Monday, cause I gotta go through the week. I see on Monday they're like, okay, TTC got Busta Rhymes. So the whole tide of the campus is shifting. They're with. We going there. Now TTC is already who TTC is. So it's kind of like it's not a bad idea anyway. 2 days later, one of the biggest curveballs to this day for me were thrown in. I see Stick and Move. Whatever, I'm not paying attention to the name. I see Jay-Z and Foxy Brown. And then I'm seeing special DJs, Funk Master Flex, such and such. I'm like, what? I was like, so mind you.
We had
who did you have?
DJ Clue and SNS.
Yes, thank you. Flex was there though.
Yeah.
Everybody was there. Okay.
This was so everybody can.
Okay, so boom. I'm looking. I'm glad you didn't correct that, but I know I wasn't bugging. So I'm looking like. Now on the numbers.
Hear what you just said though. Who was the artist you just said?
Jay-Z and Foxy Brown. So, but mind you, Busta is here too. So you mean to tell me Jay-Z, Foxy Brown, and Busta are going to be in Baltimore on the same night, but in separate clubs? This is a problem to me. This is a problem to me. No, this is. And
you want me to go in?
I'm gonna let you know it makes for a great story, and I'm definitely gonna let him pick up where he needs to pick up at. I'm just giving him from a fan and from a person that's just attending these events, like, yo, what are y'all doing? Like this shouldn't happen. Somebody needs to pick a night, and somebody else has the next night, and we all get the party. Of course, that doesn't happen. It's going down on Friday. Because the next night is King's Dominion. Nobody's going nowhere after that.
Jay performed on campus that day too.
So hold up, mind you, I don't even know where I was at earlier. You know what I'm saying? I can't even remember that.
No, he didn't perform on campus that day.
Did he walk
That wasn't that day?
No,
that wasn't there.
No, he was not going to be in Baltimore.
Yeah, he wasn't there. It was
a different day.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I ended up on stage.
Yeah, he was not.
Jay fucking around with
That was
Tupac.
after. That was after.
Hold up. Let me show y'all.
96?
Nah, that wasn't there.
Nah.
That wasn't there because I was a freshman. I remember that one.
Yeah.
I remember that one. So anyway, I go back to my crew, I'm like, yo, did y'all see that other joint? They was like, yeah. I said, these niggas got Jay-Z and Foxy Brown coming down. Right. Now, we already knew what it was with Jay, but people like to, claim state to how long they were Hov fans and stuff. People weren't. Because he wasn't fully in it. You had to have been, for me, it was just simply, I knew he was nice. So me personally, I was like, nah, I want to see this cat. Or whatever. But they at the same time, I want to see Buster. And I know what TTC party's going to look like. Because I'm talking to everybody, every chick is like, I'm going to see Busta Rhymes. So in my mind, I'm already preparing myself like, that shit ain't going to have a whole lot of chicks. The Jay-Z joint, but that one is. But how do I pull off going to both? Or whatever. So we do whatever. And I tell my crew, he's like, yo, fuck it, we going to both. Because I was like this. And this is going to sound bad. I wanted to go, but I've already spoken about that. I said, we're going to go to both. Because I said, the Jay-Z joint ain't going to be popping. I said, after they finish performing, we out. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And it just, because, everybody's not in the know. You know what I'm saying? So I knew what the safe bet was TTC joint. But I want to see both. We get the Gallery 21 on North Avenue. Every vehicle, this is 1996, every vehicle that's supposed to be the shit, it's all there. And I'm looking, I was like, oh, this is all New York tags. So I was just like, okay, everybody's here. I'm like, damn, they go such, okay, bet. So even just off the vehicles, they're in the building. Before you even walk in, they're there. These kind of whips ain't normally out here. We go inside. It was mild, to say the least, or whatever. No problem. I don't care about that. I just want to see the performance. Jay comes on. He's doing his numbers or whatever. His jury game is crazy.
I'm glad you tell the story, because if I tell this story, then for real.
So Jay, his jury's crazy, everything, but it's not too gaudy. It's just like, it's one of those, just to watch alone, he was like, this shit probably buys every car outside. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever. Foxy, this is Inga in her prime. So she's looking good, everything is whatever. So, me and them, now, you said it was Clue and S&S, not no less. So it was just like, yo, I'm looking up, so I'm thinking to myself, I'm not saying this part out loud, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why do you got all these DJs here? And I was looking like that part just didn't make sense to me. For whatever reason, I was just like, damn, they got all these niggas. Okay, whatever, no problem. So the atmosphere is cool, but I was looking like, let's let them perform. Jay-Z says, cut off the beat. His infamous cut off the beat. He does what we've come to find out was friend or foe. We didn't know it was friend or foe at the time because the way he performed it, I thought it was a freestyle. Because he did it so effortlessly and was pointing at people. We was like, oh shit. Like, yo, where's this freestyle? This is crazy. He's doing it off at the top. Of course, months later, we found out it was friend or foe. So, somehow, and I want him just to talk to that part, because we're not going to put the money number there. That's on him. I'm going to let him go to that. Somehow this nigga Jay, I guess he's like, oh, this means nothing. You just see money flying through. Now I'm personally thinking, this is part of the backstory, I'm personally thinking, oh, Jay just being, he's being real philanthropy right now. Philanthropist. Here, take that. I didn't know that was the money he was paid. So when I found out that from Duane, I said, what? You know what I'm saying? I was like, and when he told me, he was like, if you gonna do all that, you could just give me back the money and did the shit for free. If you felt that way. So that night, I don't know if it was a success or not. For me, it was a success. Doing this personally and with who and what he pulled off. If he chooses to tell other, I know it was other people involved, but once again, we had the same talk off camera. The names are in front. Because if it was a flop, guess who would have got the blame? He would have got the blame. So it is what it is. He pulled that one off. That's why I say, and I know you had Hov down here and all that too, but on the books, Hov, Duane was the first one to really bring a raw Hov down here or whatever. And I need everybody to know that. I just found out.
Hov was here before too.
He was here with TTC, but he came with faith.
Yeah,
it was faith. That's why I don't count count that.
Right.
I don't count that.
It was Faith event.
Yeah, it was Faith party.
He just came down because he was trying to get on.
He was trying to. This is before this, and I knew that. I'm glad you interjected.
Right.
He was technically.
I'm gonna give props where props is always.
But the difference was you brought him down and performed.
Yeah, right.
When Faith was at Baltimore Grand. And Jay-Z opened for her.
Yo, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
See, the thing is this, and this is the reason why I'm not counting as the first time. No, I'm not. This is why I'm not counting that as the first time.
Jay-Z was trying to get in.
This is why I wasn't counting that as the first time, because people act funny now. This is facts, like my man said. I saw the reaction of the crowd when he was rapping. Y'all wasn't on board. I knew, me and Miles, we knew what was going on. We knew what was going on.
I love about him, yo.
We knew what was going on.
I wouldn't do an interview with nobody that don't know.
People act like, oh yeah, I was already. No, y'all wasn't.
No, you
watched the reaction.
You was waiting for Faith.
You was waiting for Faith. Just like 98%.
Yeah,
I was waiting for Faith. So 98% of the people there.
It was
98% of the people there was waiting for Faith. Hell, I was waiting for Faith.
Listen, now I'm gonna tell you how I know the timeline, because when he did the debate, he had to do all white GS.
Yes,
because the same one he would ride around in Brooklyn, and it had the tour package on the back. I remember because we was parking behind him, right? A lot of people that knew Jay at the time were people from Brooklyn, Harlem, this, that, and that. Everybody else, they didn't care. Faith was the one. You understand what I'm trying to say? I was there for Faith. You know what I mean? Like, I was not,
This was fresh off her success for that album. That first album was a success.
Right.
People was there for that.
They think we was like, yo, you got Faith.
They pulled it off. They definitely pulled that off.
You was officially the bad boy promoters, yo. You got Faith
passes and everything.
Right.
So official, right?
Right. Now speeding up to what you was talking about, and like I said, TTC, all those, we brothers like motherfuckers now. Like it's so funny we laugh at stuff like this now. But like you said, it was a situation where people always clash your heads. Like I said, I came in looking at everybody. Everybody from New York has the same mentality. And that's why I think we in so much stuff now. People still think we think this way. Right. Like, people come from New York. I used to get in beef with people at Morgan that was from New York. Because I'm like, yo, why are you acting like that? You this, that, and other. Because people from New York come down thinking like, I'm the best at everything and everybody else is bullshit. Right. That's the New York mentality. Right. They went through Baltimore, Virginia, all the way down to Atlanta. And like you said, on the drug tip, right? So what happens is, when I came in, I started the party with my man Fernando, this, that, and other. Then we did team up with Stick and Move, because we clicked good, this, that, and other. New TTC and them. Chaos was the glue of everything, right? But TTC brand, even though we were cool and we would all day at the refectory area to hang out, this, that, and other. Even in the mansion, TTC mansion, we'd be in there chilling, talking about music, everything. But when it came down to doing an event or party, TTC. Like, we good. This is because like me and Mike had this talk. We're not he said, I'm not trying to interfere in nothing you're doing, but we have an agenda. And this is our agenda. We can't be sidelined by everything else that's going on and this, that, and other. When he told me that in his house, I said, oh, okay. So it made me realize
that's a real talk. That's
real talk. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Mike Moore.
Mike Moore. Right. So
Queen's finest.
Right. When he told me that, I just said, oh, okay, then then we don't gotta do business. We still can rock out. We can still, have a good time this and that. But it was others, such as Marcus from Stick and Move, Rand Park, and I was dealing with a lot of Queens guys, but that was like, yo, let's get together, let's boom, boom, boom. Oh, okay, I'm a rock with motherfuckers that want to get money together. Yeah. We cool. So what happened with that is, every homecoming we did a party. Every I Love Morgan Day we did a party. Everything. But again, they have their agenda. They already had theirs planned, like weeks and months in advance. We scrambled at the end. That's why I say, yo, you be knowing, because you said in the beginning of the week you seen this, and then 2 days later, and it really wasn't 2 days later. It was 24 hours. The party was Friday. We put it together on Thursday. All right. So what happened was, it was a lot of commotion because Golf done booked every spot. So he locked every spot down. So we had some problems with getting Gallery 21. Right. So it was a little commotion. Then Marcus argued with them at the mansion. This, that, and Buster came. You know what I mean? I knew Buster Flatbush and all that. He's like, yo, I ain't come down for all this. What's really going on? And I was like, yo, they don't really have nothing to do with it. They just arguing about some stuff. Boom. all right, he's busting bases. I'm gonna give him my money. Yeah, you're gonna get your money from. Don't worry about it. You know, they legit. So long story short, we at Rand Park's house in the apartment. We trying to figure out who we gonna get. The only people that was rocking, you can't go against Buster, yo.
Right.
The only thing we figured was shit. We gotta use our connection on who we know. I knew Gavin Foxy's brother, right? Oh man, Foxy Brown, boom, this thing we get Foxy.
Shout out to my man Gal shows.
Right. So look, Foxy, nobody want to believe this now, you know, was more famous than Jay-Z at the time.
Yeah. I argue that. I told people that.
People this is nobody gonna want to believe this, but Foxy was more famous than Jay-Z at the time.
At that moment, yeah.
Right, but now her and Jay-Z had a record together called Ain't No Nigga Like the One I Got, which is considered to be Jay-Z's record, but he have her on there for a reason.
Not even Professor soundtrack.
Right. So we said, we get Foxy, but yeah, but then we got if we get Foxy, we can probably get Jay-Z. So I'm like, oh man, I do not know how we got. I don't know how we got Dame's number, right? But we in Randy's house, and I'm speaking to him, and he's like, yeah, well, we need 6,000 for my man, and this, that, and that. These numbers sound funny now, because now you know,
can't even have a conversation.
Right, you can't even have a conversation
for
right. He was like, yo.
The hotel gonna cost you $6,000.
Right. Now the reason why that was the reason why that was such a big deal was like, yo, oh man, remember I told you I had money, this, that, and other, but I done bought all this stuff, I done did all this, I'm living like the money gonna keep coming. So when he said 6,000, that was around the time I didn't have just to give away $6,000.
Right.
So
and people were only paying $10, $20 for a party back then.
Right, but we made at you gotta remember, the Teamsters Union Hall, we made some money at it, but this was beyond that. Cause you make money, you spend it. You don't make that's the mentality we had. We going to school of business, but we really wasn't doing too much business, right? but I'm trying to speed it up. But he said 6,000, and I'm like, oh man, this, that, and then I lied. I said, oh man, we gotta pay Foxy too. We got Foxy Brown. We didn't have Foxy Brown yet. So I had to scramble, get Gavin, I'm gonna call him. Then I told Gavin, yeah, we got Jay-Z. I'm trying to lock both of them in. Randy in the background, yo, you better lock them in before they call each other. Before they speak to each other. Long story short, Dame said, and he talked fast. Dame talked fast. You know, Harlem cats talk fast. He said, listen, man, listen, my man, listen, look. I'm not trying to. We college students. We don't have a lot of money. We was expecting this. We got to pay her. Then he said, well, how much you paying her? I made up a number. I said we paying her $1,500. So now I had to stick to that. So then he said, listen, this is what I'm gonna do for you. I know what my man's worth. I know where we going. His exact words. He said we can do business now. We can do business in the future, but we're gonna do $3,500. I'm not going lower than that. I'm like, oh man. So then when I spoke to Gab, actually Don Poole was her manager. Another
Don
guy
Poole that just opened the joint.
Yeah, he Brooklyn Chop House.
All right.
Boom, we got it for $1,500. I didn't tell her that Jay-Z was $3,500 because that would have been a slap in the face. Like what? I'm fucking you crazy. I know her attitude. I know how she is. She's like, it's you, man. Anyway, long story short, she got $1,500. Jay-Z got $3,500. They came down here because they wanted us to pay for transportation and all that. I'm like, y'all, I know them like from Brooklyn. Y'all got cars. They all came to Land Cruiser, Buggy Eye Benz with a rap that said Rockefeller on it. This, that, and other. Right. They all came down. Party went great. Everybody upstairs. You got Clue, SNS. I don't know who. It was a whole bunch of people there that all came together. A bunch of known people. But I guess they said we going down Morgan Homecoming. Right. We gonna all rock out together. So that's where the party was. The party was the people looking at them perform. Right. But it seemed like the upstairs was more packed with famous people that are now.
But that was the mode back then because for them, we be talking like same thing we talking about with the numbers of the money. Mm-hmm. This is 96. None of them is super duper stars. Okay, at that point, Puff is probably big. No, it's not probably. Puff's bigger than all.
Yeah, he's bigger than all.
He's a different story.
Yeah, that was a different story.
Right. So he was already kind of emerged. That we going to homecoming. It's just another reason.
Yeah, it was a place for them. They had to be. Not homecoming. I love Morgan.
Yes.
Let me interject.
Go ahead, please.
There's something I gotta do for this particular statement.
Don't let me forget, because I got to say what you said.
we got to give it to Jay because as a billionaire, he operates the same way.
Right.
Because when he came after the show, they were like, don't promote it, you know, for those who know. And when he came up to Mirage, after the joint, he walked up the street because the street was blocked off. So he was like, yo, let me out here. He walked up Baltimore Street to Mirage by himself, linked up with Emery in front and Stokey. We walked in. Then we brought him up to the VIP. He sat there for a while. He didn't want to be up there. Yeah. He came down to the bar with everybody else. So
he sat next to me because I knew he was coming because I know Zach.
Jay gonna be here. Put me up here.
Put me right there.
But he came back down to the bar. Yeah. And then when Trey Songz and Wale and everybody came in, everybody was there. They were all at the bar.
He's the magnet, yeah, of course.
But
right.
they would have probably been in VIP, but he set the tone.
He's at football.
And he
you can't have him on the floor.
Yeah,
and they on VIP. They're looking like, what?
But that goes with the story because he bought the ace.
And that's the thing when you was talking about when I said everybody was there to stand up. So Foxy there, she upstairs with my guys. Everybody came down from New York. She upstairs, they smoking weed, they just stand up, but you know, and you know that's how women is. Everything got to be perfect. Right. So I forgot who else we had, but we only had one mic. Mm-hmm. She said, "Hold up, y'all niggas got one mic. How did we supposed to perform with one mic? This is so boom, 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 boom." Then, I swear to you now, I swear on everything. Jay-Z was sitting there. He didn't really speak too much. He was like, he just looked up. He just said, "She good. She gonna perform with one mic." That's it. Don't worry about it. She good, right? Because you know she said, "Don't worry about it. She good. She gonna perform with one mic." They performed this, that, and other. I'm standing in the background and going back to what you said. Mm-hmm. When he threw the money out, I looked at motherfucking Marcus and said, "Yo,
your soul left."
Because I gave it to Dame. Dame, I don't know what Dame gave him, but he threw the money on the crowd. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Because we really that was a one-day situation. We really put that together to do, you know.
But now, in hindsight, that was a part of their marketing.
Right.
They was throwing money out, blowing money.
Even with the buggy-eyed bands, the rap buggy-eyed bands and all that stuff. This, that, and the other.
Money is nothing.
Money
ain't a thing.
They started that. They started that with the promotional, because promotional vans are usually just vans. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Rockefeller was probably one of the first ones that had the rap Benzes. Because that's what I remember.
Right.
The first time I seen it at the tunnel. Right. And I was like, I came outside, I said, yo, these niggas got Benzes with them joints on it. The E-classes, whatever. That's when I wanted an E-class. Because of that. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
Yeah. But that party was a break-even party. You get what I'm saying? But it went down in history, I think, only because of who Jay-Z is now. Because we done did so many parties with different people, and nobody never bring it up.
But nobody brings that party up because a lot of people, they don't remember. Because that whole thing was this. That's why when I brought it up and I was so detailed with it, I was like, this is 96. So there's a whole group of Morgan people that I don't even know. Mind you, 96, that was my freshman year. I came into 95. This is the spring semester. Right. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that was pivotal. You know what I'm saying? That was a pivotal time because I still say to this day, the number one Morgan homecoming to me, performance-wise, was the takeover of the Def Jam joint with Meth and Red and all them cats.
Right.
I don't think, like this. Of course, we had Jay-Z come down for homecoming. We've had this down the third. But if you got Jay-Z and you got D-level artists come, it's not the same thing. Right. But that 95 joint in Hillfield, Meth, Wu, Honest, these are all power. I was like, all power. That's why I called it the Def Jam Takeover joint. And I was like, yo, the only thing that could have rivaled that or even surpassed it, you had to have brought DMX, God Bless the Dead, Ja and Jay at their heights, 98.
Right.
That would have been a concert and I'm like, day one. That's the one.
That'll sprinkle that. That was Lauryn Hill and Maxwell.
I was there for that one. That was 95. Yes, and I'm going to tell you like this. I'm glad. I'm
different genres.
No.
I love it. Like people, him, Jamal, and X. X is so funny because when you talk about the Jay-Z situation, I hear from you all the time, and I hear from X. Right. I'm like, yo, X, I didn't even know you was there. He said, yeah, I was right there.
No, he was definitely right next to the stage. But for Chase with the Maxwell joint, 95, this was still freshman year. Yeah. It's inside Murphy. It's inside Murphy Hall. So we was like, yo, let's go to this joint because I think it was Maxwell who was an unknown. Maxwell, the Fugees, George Clinton was like they were like the Fugees and George Clinton were like the headliners, especially the Fugees because they already blew. Like the album, the score had already done numbers, so we knew what we was getting out of that. So a friend of mine was like, yo, we was like, well, we about to sneak in the joint. I was on old school sneaking in like, yo, the concert is at 6. I'll just get us out the building at 3. They said, what you gonna do? Nothing. Just be inside the building. For 3 hours, I'm just gonna be there, whatever. So
That's crazy, B.
then she was like, my homegirl, she's from Pittsburgh. She said, nah. She said, I got a better way. I said, how? She was like, become event staff. So I said, okay. So she comes up with the jacket. So she gets the jacket. So now we got all access. So backstage or whatever, I'm just walking around. I've never really been a big give me your autograph type person. I'm more so remembering interactions. Like, you know what I'm saying? What somebody might have said to me, what I said to them. So we already I see Prize and all of them. Yo, what up, y'all? What up? They like, what's up, regular? They not acting snobbish. George Clinton is George Clinton. He's an OG. So you just like, yo, you're George Clinton. We get it. So we're chilling backstage. It's a little skinny dude. He has a scully on. He got a scully on. It's like some out of beastie shit. He got it wrapped around his joint. So we talking, and he's just talking. He's super humble, like, yeah, you know, I'm just trying to do my thing in the industry, whatever. And we was kind of fake being a jerk, because we was kind of like, what do you do? And he was like, I'm a singer. We was like, you sing? Because we thinking like, nah, nigga, you better rap or something. So he's like this. So he's like, nah, I sing. And we like, word, he was like, I got to sing. He said, I got 2 songs out right now, but he said, I haven't decided which one is going to be a single. Right. So we was like, are you going to perform both of them? He was like, yeah. We was like, well, jokingly, like, well, when you get off the stage, we'll tell you which one should be the single. Yeah. So he, you know, he bust out laughing, whatever. He comes on stage, he takes the hat off. His hair goes all over the place. It's like Sideshow Bob, whatever. He has all his hair out. We looking like, what? In our minds, this weirdo, but the ladies is loving it. They like, ow, such and such, whatever, they screaming and all that. So he does his first joint. Now, you know, we up here, the first song, I can't even remember what it was, but he's singing it. And I was like, we like, you can sing, you got a nice sounding voice, whatever. Wasn't blown away by the song, but we was like, well, at least he can sing. You know what I'm saying? He's not embarrassing himself. Then he was like, because he had a short set, because the Fugees were the main ones. He had a short set. He did one other song that he said, he said, this is the song I want to do. He said, this might be my next single. Like that. That joint goes boom, 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 and then shut it out. And we was in the back like, oh shit, like, yo. He's like, yo. And so we're watching the crowd, because we're backstage. The crowd is vibing. He get on stage. We was like, that's the single right there. That's the single right there.
He laughed. The crazy part about it is the album was $6. He proposed, he said, yo, my album is $6. Because we left and we went and bought the album, and the album was fire, bro. You got Long Hair, Maxwell, the Fugees.
Maxwell went to, he went to my high school at the same time I was there. Graphic Communications, it was called the High School of Print in Manhattan, in the Hell's Kitchen. But it's probably known as Graphic Communications and Art, GCA. But Maxwell went there too. But we looked at him as, but he just now said, he wasn't in the mix, and he used to have a little Walkman on, just listen to music. He was the weird guy. Right. Later on, when we start seeing him, we like,
that's the weird guy.
Oh my God. Because it was several people that went to my high school that became in the industry, Smith and Wesson, Onyx, Fred.
That was all down there,
Yeah, they all went, we all went.
Hey, yo, shout out to my guy, Smith and Wesson. Those are my dudes.
Oh, yeah. They came down.
You know, you always welcome to come back to Baltimore. We hung out, drank all night. We had a great time.
It wasn't always good. I said we all went to the same school, but it wasn't. It was.
My man is Sterain Wonder from OGC. That's my man. Off camera, I'm gonna tell y'all who he related to. Y'all gonna bust out laughing. But yeah, that's my guy. But real quick, I want to wrap it up. Cause y'all did a great job with that. How did the collaboration start? Because I kind of always want to touch on that because it was so many people that wanted to be individualized. Go ahead.
No, it's a combination, right? I didn't know Hov, all right? But me and Zeke, for the same reason you say, yo, everybody's doing all these things, all right? But anybody's doing it together, anybody doing it big like that, right? Mm-hmm. So me and Zeke had already decided we was gonna be a tandem. I knew Demetrius McDaniel, so I was like, yo, we're gonna pull in the Greeks. Mm-hmm. Zeke was like, yo, it's this guy out there doing it, and I'm gonna let him come on that side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely 100% correct. We always wanted to pull everybody together. Yeah. Because we didn't come into, Chase maybe a little more than me, but we didn't come into the party business from a business perspective. At least I didn't. It was really from almost like how when you listen to Kanye, how he came into the hip hop industry. Mm-hmm. He was really more of a fan. Yeah. You know, so I was really more like a Giannis, you know, like somebody who was enjoying it and knew what I wanted to see. Mm-hmm. So I was like, we got this good thing going. It'd be dope if we can get everybody together. Mm-hmm. So Chase, like he said, he knew Dimitri and Bassman.
They used to do a party called the Blue. It was called
called Blue.
Called Blue.
Okay, they spell it BLU. Mm-hmm. And they said he was like, yo, I can get the Greeks here, and we did 1 or 2 years with just them. But I still felt like there were people I knew I went to school that I wasn't seeing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like you wasn't there, X wasn't there, and I knew they were going to the Juan shit. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yo, there's another audience we're missing. Mm-hmm. This guy, is doing this thing over here. So I forgot. And Hov just asked off camera, how did we first meet? And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I knew I approached him, about us all coming together. Mm-hmm. And like he said earlier, way back in the party days, he was always open to collaboration. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he was open to it. He said, as long as it makes sense, you know what I'm saying? And so then it was me, Chase, Dimitri, Bass,
yeah, remember that?
Remember that? So then we was like, so the only piece...
That was for Homecoming. That's what he's talking about.
Homecoming collaboration.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we all got other collaborations, but just thinking about Homecoming. And then it was, only piece was missing was TTC. And they weren't really doing parties at that time. They was like, we've been there, done that.
Let me say something about that. We brought TTC in because we respected what the impact was during the era.
Right.
It was, and to Zeke's point, it was about the love. It was never about the money. We wanted everybody, to your point, in the same place because the backdrop of this really is the love is love.
Yes.
Right? See, the love is love. I'm a community guy. I'm a community activist. I always saw when I got to Morgan, and because I came to Morgan on a mission to I was always Derek Chase, right? But once I realized that we literally could have an impact on the world, I looked at you guys because your experience was so vastly different from mine. Y'all literally changed and opened my mind up to the whole entire universe I did not know exist. I had never heard of reggae music. I had heard of Bob Marley, but I never listened to one song. Right? I remember Sigmas had me, y'all grinding up with it. That's my shit. I like doing that. I can relate to that, right? I don't know the music. I don't know Barris Hammond. I don't know none of these guys. But I know it's I know what they're doing as a result of it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I had always been driving the whole unity thing. So as Zeke and I was really sitting back and brainstorming this thing, we was really on and same thing we still are, right? It's how can we bring the world together? How can we bring the community together? How can we celebrate, our experiences? And it's really been that. And then, to Zeke's point with Hov has always been a team player. It's never was not a zero bit of shade. What you will say about Hov is he's going to give you his opinion. All right? And I used to tell Zeke, because Zeke used to be like, yo, Hov always got a problem with that, a problem with this. I said, but you know.
But you know.
You know. All right? He ain't no guy's going to go along and get along. Right. Those are the type of guys.
And ain't talking behind nobody back.
And ain't going to talk about, it's going to be right to you. He going to call you up, yo, Chase. Right. Yo, do you think that makes sense? Mm-hmm. Whatever it is.
In them conversations. Yeah.
Oh, no. And here's the beautiful thing about our relationship, right? We got a relationship that's rooted in conflict, but not the conflict that disrupt relationships.
Exactly.
All right? It's the conflict that if we do not agree eye to eye, there is going to be a conversation about it, right? And but the beautiful part about it is that we are able to heal immediately at the conversation because it's always coming out of a spirit of love. We never not, even when there's been times where there's two events that happen, like last year, prime example. All right, that wasn't malicious on anybody's part.
Nah, we were scrambling. All three of us scrambling to get a spot because we found out about homecoming 2 weeks before. So it's not.
You found out about homecoming.
No. This is what I mean by that. This is what I mean by that.
Right.
You always know the date of homecoming.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Is it going to be a situation where we're able to do events and parties?
Yeah. You're right.
You get what I'm saying?
You're talking about COVID and all that stuff.
Right.
Okay,
COVID. You get what I'm saying? We're not going to put up $10,000 and nobody come out.
Right.
We didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So
That's
he
right.
already has his spot.
Right.
He already got it.
So he got a spot.
We over here, we doing a happy hour 7 nights, this, that, and other. We like, damn, we not gonna do no big place anyway. Chase good.
Right.
You know what? All right, we gonna put something together here.
Right. He right. To be honest, we didn't think that many people were gonna come that first
Right.
year.
So they came out to both.
Right.
They like packed it out. Like the spot we had, they couldn't even keep up.
But I knew that was going. I knew personally as a patron, and you know what I'm saying. I knew that was going to be the case because, okay, COVID was a serious thing. No downplaying it. We get it. A lot of people lost their lives, things like that. But in terms of outside of that and health, I knew people were itching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this wasn't. And to be fair, and like I said, this is not to toot my horn or nothing. I've got calls from DC club owners. Some of the biggest clubs called me, yo, I'm gonna need you to come in on this. What do you think we should do going forward with that? And I'm telling them like, look here, throw this event. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I guess they felt that I had a pulse on how people were feeling on the outside and things like that. And so, you know, I take those calls with a lot of great pride.
And I called you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I called Niece. I was
So-
like, yo, what you think? You think it's
And
gonna
so,
go?
and I'm looking like, you know, and I got, like I said, I got immense amount of respect and love for all three of y'all. And we have all three individual relationships with y'all. One of the best things, a lot of things that you said it earlier, and the funny thing is what you said is what Dewan said to me years ago when we were talking about, well, who's coming to this party, this, that, and the third, or who, because there's a faction of people that's not doing X, Y, Z. And then so I asked Dewan one time, like, well, you know, well, what can I bring to it? He said, yo, you got a certain amount of people that look to you to do things or where the party's gonna be at that I may not ever hardly speak to or even know. And I didn't look at it like that at first. Somebody that doesn't want to think in retrospect will look like, oh, so he just thinking I'm just with anybody. I'm not with no clowns or nothing. I was like, that's not what he's saying or whatever. And I never took it that personal because I was like, I think this is what he means by. And then talking to my cousin, he was like, the swing vote. He was like, he pretty much, that's how he, honestly, because he was like, he said it's not a disrespect to you or to him, but he said that's what it is. He said, I think it out of you. He was like, yo, because you be talking to people that I probably would never speak to.
Right.
And he was like, but he said the difference with me, I'm an open snob. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said, I'm probably not. But he said, you're gonna know people, and then so when he was giving me the opportunity to make a few dollars and do things, and so I say all that to say this is a spitfire one. This is just a quick question for y'all. You got a scenario. You'll make $70,000 in one night, but the party is bullshit. So you either you got a choice, door A, door B. You take door A, you're gonna make 40,000. But people are gonna love the party.
Right.
Behind door A, I said, hey, door B, you make 70 or 80,000, but people didn't have a good time at all. Which door you walking through?
Well, we've been there before.
Exactly.
We already been there before, and
I need you to say it because I want people to hear it from y'all.
We have did the 40,000, and people had a great ass time. Let me tell you why.
Right.
Because we're going to get 40 more, we're going to get 40 more, we're going to get 40 more if they had a great time. If they didn't have a great time, you might as well keep that little 70 and do something really good because they're not coming back. Yeah. That's it. That's going down in history. Right. That shit was whack. Right. Soon you put on another flyer, what else going on? Right. I'm telling you, trust me. And this is the situation that we have. Baltimore party. We didn't get into that. The transition from Morgan to Baltimore, but the thing with when you talk about the most money I've made, were the Baltimore parties. And when I say Baltimore parties, I'm talking about, how can I say it? The hood parties.
Okay.
All right? We do these parties that you see now for our peers. West End, hear all these great spots, Zeke bag up, this, that, and up with this, all that, right? And people like, oh man, it's crazy. Oh, boom, boom, boom. They don't know the expenses behind it. They don't know that we doing all this extra pretty stuff because it's y'all talking like, oh well, you know, 'cause we got girls from DC, Virginia. Oh, I don't party in Baltimore, but they come to our parties. Why? Because they know they're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be beautiful. They're gonna meet some professional men. The guys gonna be this, that, and
real professional.
right. So you know they might not get it, but when you get to have a conversation,
get that necessarily in other places.
right? When you have these conversations, right, and then you have that whole situation. But when we at the end of the night, we made on a great night we made money. But honestly, for 700 people to be there. And all the expenses we paid, this, that, and other, blah, 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 you would think it was all the way up there. I've done hood parties. I don't even promote to those people. I've done the hood parties with less people.
Right.
And made triple than what I made with that. So it goes to what you just now said. The reason why we're still here in the longevity is because we never forgot those people. We have to, because then that'd have been it. You know what I mean? Like those parties where my doctor might say, I want something to do with this, that, and you know, she's African. Oh, you can come here, boom, 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 and she had a great time. I'll go to her Instagram, and it's so funny. I'm seeing her in the party, like she knows my whole body parts, like, but she was turning up, and then she back in the office, and she straight professional.
Right.
But
right. And I was gonna say, and people, they probably don't realize how often we do that, because people sometimes are so narrow-minded and specific about what they want to see sometimes. So I know, you know, we got a little bit of that feedback with Morgan Homecoming, where people felt like it wasn't Morgan enough, you know, it wasn't Morgan exclusive. But the people who actually stuck with us and rocked with us saw it, they had a blast. Like, you know, not everybody in here graduated from Morgan, but these are some good people that guess what? We're on campus with you. You know what I'm saying? Like oh yeah, da 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 da. So they're part of that reunion too. So like some people are like da da da, but they don't realize like we are constantly making a decision on what's gonna be a good time. If we do something where if you don't have a diploma, a degree, you know, you can't get in, you think that's what you want. But it's not gonna be a good time. All of them parties you remember at Morgan, there were Baltimore people there too. There were people from Coppin there too. There were people from Del State there too. And so when we get together, we're bringing together back that party. You know, you think, we bringing together back that experience. Exactly. We're bringing that reunion. We're bringing that compilation of individuals to the event together. Just trust us. And those who do always have a good time. And that's never been a complaint.
And you gotta understand this too. You see everything he just now said? I told you I've been going down to colleges since the early 90s. From all the way up, from here all the way to Atlanta. Go to their homecomings. You think everybody at their homecomings went there?
Not at all.
No. You think in Howard, everybody that go to Howard homecomings went to Howard?
That don't even count. They're on a different level. I'm still waiting. It's not even that we're waiting, because it's a numbers thing. But Howard's homecoming has kind of exceeded homecomings anyway. Like that, people know that the majority of people at Howard homecoming didn't even go to Howard, didn't even
go to college,
visit the college at all. It's just they're kind of beyond that.
Here's the thing, and this is the shout out. That's because the city embraced it.
Exactly.
Right, and the next level we already talking about it is because the truth of the matter is that right now Morgan probably has one of, if not definitely top 5 brands, maybe top 3 brands as it relates to HBCUs. All right, we were the ones featured in the NBA, right? That's us. You know what I'm saying? So we got a very unique opportunity. You know what I mean? Of being the masterminds who've cultivated both the Morgan and other college experiences, as well as the Baltimore experiences. All right, to do something great, and that's always what I wanted to do. I always wanted to do something great. My goal is, okay, how do we make history? I'm interested in changing history because it don't have to be this way. Like, we can celebrate each other. When we used to do the Love is Love, all right, it's the same formula, right? I didn't know Rand Park, and I didn't know any of them guys. They not my generation. They maybe knew me, all right, but I didn't have a real relationship with them. I'm just getting a relationship with them in the last 15 years. You know what I'm saying? But the idea was, how can we do something great? How can we be the gentleman equality? And our training of the gentleman equality is to be community folks. All right? That's what the training. Be community folks. Be good fathers, right? To be good husbands, right? Be business focused, all right? And ultimately make a difference. We never strayed away from that. The only way to get that is to unify, right? Hove is great at what he was doing. I knew about what Hove was doing. I just didn't know Hove. I saw the guy on the motorcycle. I saw the energy around him, right? I didn't know Hove. I just knew the energy that he brought, and it was always strong energy. I don't like bitches. So you'll be a bitch around me, it ain't gonna work well. Because at the end of the day, I can't deal with it. I have a low tolerance for that shit. You know what I'm saying? So bringing this level of masculine energy together, right? And for us to be able to feature, you know, you got to understand, you know, Jay said he had 10 summers. Right. You know, shit, we had 20 falls. All right? Some bigger and better than one. Our greatest event together is probably, we had 3,000 people at the old Hammerjacks. What's called?
For real.
Bourbon
Street.
Yeah.
We had 3,000.
That was probably the best homecoming.
Yeah.
And guess what? Would you argue that that's up there with one of the best homecomings?
I don't know if you
It definitely was one of the best homecomings, and what I said off camera when we was talking, I did it that night too. But go ahead. I got this.
So
that's crazy. It definitely was.
That was probably one of the only homecomings we achieved, because TTC was on that, Ski, and everybody together on that. But guess who was also on it quietly? Jazzy. So you know what I'm saying? Who also went to Morgan, but right. But people
got
may
100
not,
degrees.
right.
Got more
We got
degrees
100
than all of
degrees.
us.
Right.
But then people may not say so like that. The Morgan is so much bigger than any individual's experience, and to recreate that feeling, you gotta be bigger than your own individual experience.
Yeah, and that's what we say. Shout out to my guys, TTC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was always our conversation. We got real, authentic relationships. Me, Mike Moore, Garth, all right? We came to Morgan in 1990 together. We changed Morgan. When we came there, the Greeks ran everything, right? When the Greeks, we created space for guys who were whatever they were to have a lane. We created that space to share and empower.
Yep.
All right? And that's really where we are now. The question is, and I'm putting this out to TTC because I know y'all gonna hear this. All right? What we gonna do? How do we really bring this thing full circle? And everything, equality doesn't mean we all equal. I'll be the first person to say equality don't mean we equal. All right? He's better at a lot of shit than I am. Hove is better. And there's some shit I'm the master at. All right? But what I'm the master at is understanding what our potential is as a community. If we want to come back and make Baltimore or make more than the epicenter of everything that's promotional, we got it right now. We got the Preakness. Listen to what I'm saying. Look, listen. There are 3 triple crowns. All right? You got the Derby, you got the Belmont, and you got the middle one is the Preakness. We own that. We the ones put that together. All right? Now, if the world will allow us to do something at that level for the world, why can't we have the same level of Preakness level of experience for Morgan? And when you talk about money, if we bring 100,000 people to the city, and if the average person spends $200, what's that number look like? All right, that's a good number.
That was a great segue too.
Before you get to that segue, I want to end it like this because I like to put people. I put them on the spot. I don't normally talk on the camera, but I talk directly to people. Me and Zeke, not the Zeke from Tricks and Zeke. If you speak to Zeke, you ask him what I told him. I said, listen, the ultimate thing that I've been wanting for years, and we had these conversations too. TTC, Zeke Way, D Chase, myself, Tricks and Zeke. Homecoming.
Yeah. And we tried that, Zeke.
Homecoming, one party.
You get another chance.
Homecoming, one party. Let me tell you why. Because this is what they used to say, right? This is what they used to say. No, let me tell you. This is what they used to say.
I'm out of it.
Look, let me tell you what. Because when we was doing it before, they used, people would be like, oh yeah, this is the younger party, and this is the older party. Everybody old. Everybody old now.
Shout out to Zeke. His birthday was yesterday. Too.
Yes, everybody old now. Everybody now want to be.
Lil Zeke is you're right about that.
Everybody want to be on the. Everybody grown now.
Yeah.
Right.
Period.
Look, hey, ho, and on that note, talking about that right there, Zeke another one. Me and Zeke came straight up eye to eye. Right. Cause I told Zeke, he know, this is real history, yo. We don't move like that. You know what I'm saying? When we move. We say we doing something, we do it. And what I love about Zeke is he came back and said OG, because at that time I guess I was an OG. Right. Now we just
right.
He said, yo, I did wrong. I apologize. Right. I said, yo, no worries. We're going to have history. The future is brighter than the past. Right. So now everybody, here's the challenge for everybody that's listening. All right? Look, what we can do collectively, remove all of your isms and schisms, but based upon what we can't do. All right? Because you don't know how beautiful we are until we all bring it together. Right. When we bring it together, our goal, we have one goal, to bring 100,000 people in Morgan and share, make sure we share in the wealth and leave a legacy that transforms the city. If we start with that, all right, then we go and hold up the corporations. We hold up the mayor. All right, we hold up all the venues. Right. You know what I mean? We the beautiful thing about all of us is that, you know what I'm saying, we're accountable to each other. All right, so ain't nobody gonna let nobody do too much. Right. All right, you don't get a pull up. All right, having that, we gonna win.
And now is the time to do it more than ever, because back when homecoming was one of the biggest things on our radar as promoters, it was a little more difficult, because it was the big payday, homecoming. So it's like, how many times you want to chop up the pie? But now that our brands have, respectfully kind of matched as far as events, what homecoming brings to us, I think I told somebody, this past year, it's like homecoming is not even in my top 5 earning events anymore. Right. So it's we could do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like I'm not even looking for that. You know what I'm saying? As far as income.
Homecoming continues to be a great money earner place for me. So all those who supported homecoming, you keep on supporting. We'll be there.
We ain't on that one because my whole thing is it also is a good weekend for me too. So I'm not saying it's going to hit the most, but I definitely love what homecoming does for me financially for those 2 days.
Hey, Nice.
I don't spend a dime.
Hey, Nice, I want Zeke, and Zeke can collaborate in the story. So one time we did a real big homecoming. This was right before the year. We said, we got to go get Hov. Right. But Zeke said, yo, we got to go Hov. Right. That's how it went. Zeke said, yo, we got to go get Hov. Right. And the beautiful part about it, everybody say cool, right? But we was at Gardell's. This is another great homecoming experience.
That was fun.
Yo, that was a good one.
It was. You remember that? We had the 3 floors.
Raheem performing
on the floor, right?
That was a good one.
So, Yanis, we have a great night economically, right? So we in the back, we counting. It's a good night. There's 1,000+ people there. Good night. Say to Johnny Alonzo, who was the owner of the joint. Right. I said, yo, Johnny Alonzo. I said, yo, how you think the night went? Right? We all sitting there. Right. He says, oh, the people were well behaved. Right. Yo.
Jay's lost it.
I lost it, yo.
The people. Jay said, pets are well behaved.
I said, monkeys are well behaved.
Children are well behaved.
John, he went down the hall. I said, motherfucker, don't you ever say black folks. I don't care, we never do business together. Motherfucker, don't you ever say black folks are well behaved, nigga. I don't need shit from you.
Right. We all knew, right? We all knew.
It was over. Hey, but we bopped out of that, man. But, so to your point, here's the question is, you take 70,000 or you have a good party for 40,000. Right. That was the biggest homecoming we had ever did. Right. We left him, never went back to that relationship, never even tried to get a relationship with him. Right. All right? We went and got another guy. Now understand, we spent big money between the 3 of us. Right. Went and got another and opened it up bigger. Right. And then opened it up bigger. Mm-hmm. Right? So to your point, all of us have never, the money has never been at the center of money has never been the driver of what we're doing. Mm-hmm. It's always been about the love. It's always been about the people. It's always been about the experience. It's always about celebrating the diversity of all of what each one of us bring. Each one of us bring. Look, I ain't never been a slick guy in my life. All right? In my life, I'm not a slick guy. I ain't never been a refined guy in my life. Zeke is slick, refined, and hood. He everything in one. He's a whole nother brand of human being, right? All right? I'm in my lane. I'm a conscious guy first. I'm a community guy first. That's who I am. I'm a people's guy. All right? You ain't never gonna see me as slick as nothing, but maybe now. All right? Facts. Because they've changed me, right? But what you always gonna get out of me is the fact that whatever I do, love is gonna be at the center. And me and you have partied over the years, and in our relationship, and this is what I always loved about you, love has always been at the center. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty. That's why your podcast is gonna go through the roof, yo. Because you are the best. I'm gonna go on the record right now. You're the best podcast I've ever seen, the best host I've seen.
I appreciate that.
Facts.
Before we get out of here, tell us. I need y'all to let everybody know what y'all got coming up. What y'all got coming up? Just run it down real quick so we can get that going.
But immediate, Chase and I are working together, like he said, on the Preakness. So that's May 20th, Preakness Eve, Friday Preakness. Working on a concert that will continue to be the Friday part of Preakness weekend for many.
Oh, so you gotta say that again, man.
A concert that will continue to be the Friday part of Preakness weekend for many years to come.
Right.
Who's that? Who's there? Who's there? Zeke, talk your talk.
Megan Thee Stallion, Brittany Spencer, Miss Lauryn Hill.
Miss Lauryn Hill, and she's coming.
D Nice.
Shout out to my man. I like that.
Yeah. Darren Atwater.
Darren Atwater.
And with the
Soul
Morgan's
Pacific.
Band. And we got the Morgan's Band there.
So it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful event. That's May 20th. Go to Preakness.com/AfroPreak.
That's next Friday.
That's next Friday. And then the following Sunday, which is Memorial Day Sunday, which tradition that the Hove and I and good brother Dawi started last Memorial Sunday was the nude event. So we're going to do the nude event part 2 at the Westin.
What date is that?
May 29th.
That's
Sunday. Memorial Day Sunday.
Okay.
8 to midnight. No
Explain
work
that
the
new
next
thing,
day.
though.
No, we're not asking everybody to come there naked.
Yeah, I definitely would have came. It's like, oh, this is what we fuck I got on clothes for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look, like I said, the colors is from white, tan, beige, light brown, dark brown, to chocolate.
To mauve.
And from here, so here's the spectrum. No, here's the spectrum. From here to here.
There you go.
Brown paper bag.
You get lighter than that, though. You get lighter than that. That's something Zeke would have said, yo.
Yep.
He's gonna like Zeke, yo.
So I appreciate these brothers coming up to Ocean's View, doing what they did. This conversation could have went for 10 hours, but you know, we got to chop this thing up, make it do what it do, and everything exactly. So once again, you got D Chase, D Hove, Zeke D. Yo, appreciate y'all coming to Ocean's View. See y'all next week.
Hey, that's a hot name too. Just for the record, Ocean's View, yo.
Yeah, that's dope.
Love it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go.